ROGAN, and this is the Art of Rhyming, episode 58. Subscribe, you know what to do. We got a special episode, Futurewave. Those that know, he needs no introduction. One of the architects of the grimy underground sound that we have today, on one of the best runs in hip hop, producer MC wise with Danielson. Worked with so many foundational artists in this lane, Rome Streets, Al Divino, members of the Cloth, and more. We're just gonna get him on the live, man, and get started. There he is. Futurewave.
My guy, what's popping? You hear
Not
me
much.
good?
Yeah,
You hear
man.
me? No
How about
doubt.
me? Are we
Oh,
good?
definitely, definitely. Yeah. What's
Dope,
the,
dope.
what's the word, man? What's good?
Bro, we took the day off to do the interview. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want to miss it. Wanted to make sure it happened. So honor is mine, bro.
No, I appreciate it, man. I mean, my time is a little, tight. So
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
daytime is the best time for me, to be honest.
Got it,
Nighttime
got it.
is crazy, bro. I'm in an apartment in Brampton, We
I,
got
I
fucking four people living here, so it gets a little rowdy.
bro, I grew up most of my life in apartments, man. I know it firsthand. Um,
It's all
so
I know, bro. I've never lived in a house in my entire life, bro. Always apartments.
yeah,
That's
man,
it.
prices are getting crazy bad. Are you a morning person, or you're just sort of forced to be a morning person?
Now I am.
Now
Now
you're, yeah,
I definitely am, bro. I'm up like
yeah,
at
yeah,
5 a.m. and shit,
yeah,
5:30. And I don't even days where I don't even have to be awake at that time, I'm up. I'm
yeah,
already
yeah,
up. So I like to get my day started early. I got two kids, so I
yeah.
gotta prepare their lunch, take them to school and shit like that.
Absolutely,
So
man.
yeah,
So,
man.
so,
One of my
so,
daughters start at 8, so but
right,
yeah,
right, right. Sounds familiar, man.
no
Yeah, man.
doubt.
Most of my life, I've been a night owl, even through like junior high. I'm falling asleep 2, 3 in the morning,
Oh, hell
playing
yeah.
video games. That shit just gets beaten out of you over time. You know what I mean? With
Bro,
a
high
schedule
school.
and kids.
Dog, high school, I lived off of like 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours
Yeah,
of
man.
sleep max.
Yeah,
Like every single day, I was school days. I'm up at 4 a.m., 5
yeah,
a.m. talking to girls and shit like that on the phone, and
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, those were the days, bro. Those days were
I,
different. But I'm not built like that anymore, bro.
I,
I need
me
my
neither,
sleep.
man. Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So we briefly talked about the Canadian elections before they happened, man. I thought I'd ask you how you feeling with the results, if you have
I
any
mean,
thoughts.
what are you gonna do, man? I mean, yo, you can't. I don't blame people, because the liberals like to say that, yo, the right is misinformed, but nah, man, I think they're misinformed, bro.
Yeah, man.
So I'm a liberal at heart. I can't lie. Like I grew up, I voted for Trudeau the first time. You know what I'm
Did you?
saying?
Okay, yeah.
My wife
I've
reminded
never
me.
voted before
mm,
until this election, bro. To be
Nah,
honest.
this is my third time voting, bro. It's funny, bro, because I voted for Trudeau the first time. I voted
Yeah,
for Singh
yeah.
the
Okay,
last time, and I just voted
okay.
conservative. So I'm all over the place, bro. I just go with what I feel is right at that
Yeah,
moment,
yeah,
with like what's clicking with me. That's why, like I'm saying, like I'm pretty sure we were misinformed as well as when we were kids and shit. That's
yeah,
why now, like, thank God for the internet, and there's many different outlets to get your information and shit. It's not just we're dependent on the fucking media on television, and also, because I have a family with, what I'm saying, I have a wife, two kids, I feel it. Like I
yeah.
actually
You
feel it.
feel it.
Like
It's real. It's real. The
like people
circumstance.
who just live on their own or just have them just one person to worry about, which is themselves, like, and you're making decent money, like you
Yeah,
could get by. You could get by doing it,
yeah,
with all the price hikes and shit. But when you got four mouths to feed off of one paycheck or two paychecks, fam,
yeah.
it gets tough. It
Right.
gets tough. So fuck these guys, bro. And unfortunately, I don't even know if I'll ever be able to own a home in Toronto. I might have to
Yeah,
leave. You know what I mean? So it affects me in that type of way. That's why, I'm a little more, yeah, I lean more to the right now, more
yeah.
so than to the left, 'cause I got
Well,
a
I
family and shit.
definitely had to leave Toronto, but I can't believe Canadians let the last 8, 10 years slide, man. Just like I don't know. I'm not gonna get all into it and make it the focal point, but I just don't know how people let it slide, man.
Yeah, we could
Yeah,
talk for
yeah,
hours about
yeah,
this stuff, but you know what it
yeah,
is now? I think there's just a large group of people who don't have families and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you're a single person, and this is not a knock, this is just
Right.
different mentalities, right? Because when
Yeah.
I was single, I had a totally different outlook on life. My life was totally different, you
Right.
know? Um so when you're single, like you're looking at things in one type of lens, and when have a family, you're looking at it from a different type of lens. So it's like now I think there's like a battle between the two. You know what I'm saying? Between the two sides. And I think that's what happened in the States too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But, you know,
I think it could even be, I don't know for fact, but it could be older people that are sitting comfortable at this point. You know what I'm saying?
that's what they're
And
trying to
the shit
say.
doesn't
Yeah.
affect them. You know what I mean?
That's what they're
But yeah,
saying.
man.
But I think, fam, like in my hallway, there's a lot of immigrants over here, like
Yeah.
Iranian people, fucking, like all different kinds of people live in my building.
Yeah.
And I asked, like, yo, who did you guys vote for? Everybody said Carney, Carney,
Wow.
Carney. Why?
Oh,
Why?
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
he
Okay.
seems like a guy that knows what
Oh
he's
my
talking
God.
about.
Yeah.
He's a professional economy guy, this and that. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
you guys fucked it up, man, for
I
us.
guess end of the day, we never know what will happen.
No,
So
we don't
we got
know. We
we
don't
got to
know.
live with it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. And I'm hopeful, man. I'm more of I'm an optimistic person. I try to
yeah.
always look at things I try to, you know what I'm saying, look
Yeah.
at things in a positive light and give people the opportunity to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
And listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, bro. And I'm bad to admit that, but we'll see how it turns out, man.
So let me back this shit up and give you an introduction. There's always a chance once this shit goes on YouTube, it's going to be people that haven't heard of you. So I want to give you an introduction. It's going to be a little long winded, just a forewarning. So this is Futurewave, one of the architects of the grimy underground sound of the last decade. A dude who I've heard other highly respectable underground producers consider a GOAT, or if not the GOAT. A dude who I've heard fans and connoisseurs say they'll fuck with anything he touches, any project that he's involved in. To prepare for this interview, because I started catching on to you and Danielson maybe 3 4 years ago. I tapped out of underground hip hop for some years. I was listening to mostly your catalog for the last month plus, man. And to do that means I'm listening to your Rome Streets projects, Al Divino, Ito, Ace and Eastwood. You got Rigs from the Cloth, Mooch. A lot of shit I'm absorbing quickly, bud. And talents like Pro Dillinger, Raz Fresco, and Boldy James. And that's not even including whatever other production credits you have for singles and stuff like that. And I just want to add, in my opinion, and based on all the hip hop that I've listened to, him and Danielson have the best, highest quality run of any MC producer combo in hip hop since he was rejuvenated, linking up with Danielson. I believe it was about 2018, and they released Pressure Cooker. So you got an incredible backstory, I think, that I want to get into, and looking forward to this, man.
But no, man, that's an honor, bro. Appreciate the words, man. And yeah, man, we all have our people that we look up to, man. I got my producers that I think are fucking the goats too, but the fact that people rate me on that level, it's an honor, bro. Especially, from the background that I'm from and shit. So it's crazy. It's been a long road, but I'm glad I'm here, bro. And
Yeah,
thank you,
man.
man, and thank you for doing this interview with me, man. I know it took a minute to get done, but yo, here we are, man.
No, it's dope just to finally build up my platform to talk to people like you and Danielson. So again, the honor is mine, bro.
Fam,
So
the interview you did with Daniel's son was amazing, bro. I was like, wow, like you got Daniel to talk, and I could see how comfortable he was and shit, and
yeah,
just and how and the questions you asked the right questions, and it was really good, bro.
I
So salute
I
to
I
you.
I truly just respect the grind you guys are in. I've had a taste of it, a couple of times growing up. You know what I'm saying? So I respect
Hmm.
that you guys are living this shit, man. So
Mm,
I wanted to ask you, wanted to start growing up. You grew up in Rexdale, is that right?
definitely, yes, sir.
Did you always live there? That's a area northwest of Toronto, a community, so to speak. Did you always live there? And were you born in Canada?
Yeah, I was born in Canada, Toronto. I lived in Toronto my whole life. I've been in Rex from I wasn't even 1 years old yet. We lived in 40 Stevenson, and I lived there till I lived. Then my family moved to 45 Silverstone, but it's the same block. It's literally this on the same block. It's the Mount Olive block, and bro, that my family's still there. You know what I'm saying? But I moved out when I got married. We moved to Brampton because my wife, she didn't want to raise her kids in that neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because my wife, she originally is from Driftwood, and then
right,
she moved to Jamestown, which was
right,
a rival turf from where I'm from at
right,
that time. At that time,
right.
but moving from Driftwood to town was like, man, and she moved into town at one of the worst times, like 2004 to 2007. She lived there, and that's when they had the raids. That's when everything was crazy at that time. So she had a really bad experience growing up in this type of neighborhood. And most people who grow up in these areas don't want to go back. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Or they try to find their way out and stay out. Like if you're still there, and that's all you know, that's all you know what I'm saying? But once you have the opportunity to get out and stay out, and you realize, like, even guys who are still in those type of neighborhoods, they feel like this is for life, this is for life. But yo, you don't know the trauma, especially if you've been involved with shit, like certain types of trauma that you have until you're out of it. And then you realize, and then you certain things start to haunt you when you're older. So it's like, yo, fuck those neighborhoods. My wife doesn't want to go back, man. Even when we go visit my parents, like
uh.
she's not happy to be there. But yeah.
Your parents want to stay there, or they
Right,
want to
they're
get
not,
out?
if you're not involved, you're okay, right?
Right,
But that's all they know. That's all they know. And they
right,
they just they just never really, like my mom, like last summer there was certain shootings that happened on the Olive Street near Olive and Kipling. And my mom walks there every day.
right,
You know what I mean? She walks there every day, and that's why I'm kind of like, oh man, like I hope I can get it to the point where I can get them out one day.
right, right, right,
It but it
right.
but it bothers me a little bit, but
Yeah,
they're comfortable though. They're comfortable. They don't see, they don't see the problems because their ears not, to what's going on. They just see, oh, this happened here, but they're not fazed by it.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's funny, to be honest, I didn't spend much time. I'm from North York. I didn't spend much time in Rexdale growing up. But as a kid, my parents would take me to the Woodbine Center,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
amusement park in the mall,
Yeah.
man.
Hell
That
yeah.
was the
Fantasy
spot when
Park?
you're a kid. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, man. I know it's hard to speak for everybody, but what do people not from Rexdale need to know about, the Rexdale community or people from Rexdale? Again, it
Um,
might be hard to speak for everyone, but I thought I'd ask you that
I
question.
think I think it's the musical background, bro. I think Rexdale doesn't get the respect that it deserves for its contribution to Canadian rap. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like my first in like when I was young, I seen the Easy on the Motion video from Ghetto
Yes.
Concept.
Yeah,
My
yeah, yeah.
building is in there. Like my
Okay.
building is in
Right.
that video. And
Right, right.
and to so as a kid seeing that and be like, oh shit, I live there, you know what I mean? Like, it it's inspirational, you know what I mean? Especially for someone that grew up in that type of area. And that grew up in that area. And like you had Ghetto Concept, you had Infinite, you had Jellystone. Now you have Nav, you have fucking Moolah, you have Pyrex. Um, there's a
Kanon?
lot of. Hmm?
Kanon?
I'm not too
I
familiar
look I
with him
looked
like
it up.
that.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think is he from Olive? Is he an
I
Olive
I
kid?
don't know where he's from, but I think he had some pretty big singles back in the day, man.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, man, that's what I would say about Rexdale, man. I mean, Rexdale has definitely been involved with Canadian rap from the early stages, and played a major contribution
So
to bringing Canadian hip hop to the world for sure.
So is it fair to say that you would see these people in the streets, these acts? And if so, like what impact did it have on you? Like was it like within
Um,
arm's reach, these people type of thing?
Ghetto Concept was a little older.
Right.
I met Infinite once in a studio, when it was a MO Entertainment studio. Well, I think there was like a little label that those guys were trying to set up over there, and Infinite was there, and they were bringing me over there
I used to
playing
bump
to
some of
play
his
beats.
singles like mad back in the day.
Yeah,
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 man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Infinite, so from my bedroom, I would always hear new music, like guys from. in the area were playing a lot of Infinite shit, like unreleased Infinite stuff. And um, I mean, Red Light. You remember Red Life? You
Yes,
know
not
Red Life?
completely like thoroughly his catalog, but definitely remember Red Life.
So
Yeah.
so there so there's a guy in Red Life named Kryptonite. So I used to see him around, and that was my guy still. Like he used to bring me around with him. He brought me. He's the one that brought me to Swift Studio. R.I.P. Swift. Swift LaRock from the Grassroots. So when I was in high school, they would draw from me, drive me over to his studio, and I would play beats. And I learned a lot of stuff from Swift, you know. Um, so I was around still, you know. I was around with a certain generation. Now, like I said, Jellystone, Ghetto Concept, that generation's a little older than me, like a lot older. That's Sibs. Sibs is, you know, Sibs from Gold Era.
Sibs Rock. Yeah.
Sibs Rock. Yeah, that's his people, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, like they're a little old. They're like my brother's age. So I wasn't introduced to those guys like that, but I see them around, definitely. But I was more um like I started like what got me into music was rolling with these guys Illy and Pay, R.I.P. Rest in
Okay.
peace, you know, from G Squad. Alien Payback. They had a group with this guy Vertigo, Grumpy, who was Pay's brother, and my boy 36 Cypher. That's my
Right.
brother.
Right.
So we all used to roll together. This is before guys really got deep into some shit. You know what I'm saying? So we all grew up together, we rolled together, and we all had ambitions to be involved with the fucking music industry some way, shape, or form. Like I was fucking 10 years old wanting to do music, bro.
Right.
11 years old, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like we always were those guys, the music guys.
Did you like? Were there any artists that you thought, damn, like they're about to blow up, they're about to make it, whatever you thought making it was at the time? We never really knew as kids that made you say, yo, this is a tangible thing to do with my life, or
Yeah.
was it always just based on the love and like you didn't really think
No,
about
no,
the
because like
end
I said,
game?
because I was around Kryptonite from Red Life, and he
Right.
he was around like Socrates, fucking
Right.
like Cardinal when you know this is before old time killing and shit like that. And
Right.
so he was around those guys. I mean, Socrates was on Yaga Ya, right? That song
Right.
Yaga Ya by those guys.
Remember that? Yeah.
And I was hearing Cardinal beat CDs and shit. Like Cardi don't even know that, but I was hearing his beat CDs from these guys. And so seeing that, and they were going to label meetings and shit. So
Right.
seeing the level that these guys were playing at, that's what I'm saying. Like seeing the level that these guys were playing at motivated me to want to do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it showed me that there's like this actually could happen. It's not just a fucking an idea or a dream. Like there's people
Yeah.
around me moving and shaking. Like I said, I went to Swift Studio. This man had a studio in his basement. Fucking um going to MO Entertainment Studio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They had a whole official fucking studio. You know what I'm saying? So to see these things and mans were throwing contracts at me. Like I was in high school and I got presented a fucking contract to be a producer for a
Wow.
label and shit, but I never. It was a bad contract, so luckily I was a little smarter.
Did you get anyone to read it, or you knew it was a bad contract
It was a
yourself?
very
Just
straightforward contract. I
right,
mean, in hindsight, in today's time, it would probably work because guys are
really,
letting beats go for $50 and shit. I
right,
mean, at the
right,
time, is
right,
any beat that I made, I
right.
get $300 for it. So if I go to the studio, I think this is how the contract was set up. Something I could be wrong a little bit, but from what I remember, is like you go to the studio, whatever you cook there and whatever a rapper wants to use, you get $300 for that.
Mm.
And now I don't know how the back end was. I don't remember, but that I do remember. That detail I do remember. So,
So look, in the global, I'll call it underground hip hop community, you're very revered, you're well known. You know what I'm saying? But if you were walking down the streets of Rexdale or where you're at right now, I think you said you're in Brampton. How recognizable are you? You know what I mean to everyday
um,
people on the street.
well, it all depends, and if it's only to those who I grew up with, bro. Like
Got it.
nobody's really listening to this lane. Like those who know me in the
Yeah.
area know me for who I was in school and shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like there's only a select few that actually pay attention to like what's going on in this lane. Like even like people knew me from day one to be a guy that's a producer or someone that's involved with the music. Now they
Right.
see like I'm hearing like, oh, this guy is like very proud of what you're doing and this and this and
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
there's,
yeah.
but if they're around in the neighborhood and I grew up with them, for sure they'll recognize me. For
It,
sure, like definitely. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy how I think we're all in this global bubble, different pockets around the globe where we respect this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a different world inside and outside of the bubble. It's if that
bro,
makes sense, man.
this is
So
such a small pocket. This is what I'm like, fam. Like, if we were really, this is not to knock us in the game because I just know the potential of what we could achieve, you know, and especially, you know, being closer to Rome streets, you know what I'm saying, knowing how much he's achieved and seeing the step, like every step of the way, I witnessed it, right?
yeah,
And seeing how big he's gotten, a man like Boldy James, West Side Gun, like like their reach is it's just fam, like I'm just saying, like there's just so many people who love this real hip hop shit that we're just only tapping into such a small fraction of what it
that
actually is.
it dawned on me at some point. The more I interview people, the more I get back into the scene. I'm realizing how important drawing everyone from around the globe that fucks with this shit is important to sell your vinyls, to sell your merch. You know what I mean? It can't just be from Canada or from the US. It's got to be everyone pulling together. That's what I've concluded. I don't know if you agree, at least at this stage, but
No, definitely. I mean, you gotta have something that the fans could touch, you know what I'm saying? And connect with to you. Like the music is just one piece of like a bigger a bigger thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the base foundation of what you're presenting to the people. Like you should have merch, like you should have music videos, you should be out there doing shows. Like you gotta the music is the bare minimum,
I,
brother. That
I'm just saying more like you need the international fans so that you have
oh
an
hell
audience
yeah.
sufficiently to sell it to, for lack of a better word. Do you agree with that?
Oh
That
for
the
sure,
internet
man.
reaching the international underground pockets, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
necessary
definitely.
to survive. I don't know if you agree, but
No, 100%, bro, because especially the type of music that we do, like it's popular because of the internet. You
right.
know what I mean? Because I think if people were just trying to sell their music to their own blocks and shit, it like this type of rap wouldn't fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Crazy.
Now it's a little more popular than it was a couple years ago, but nobody was really like if you're from that type of neighborhood, nobody was really fucking with this type of shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's only a select few. Like I had like out of 10 people, maybe one person was fucking with the shit. Everybody was into like the trap music, the Jeezys, the fucking, that type of vibe. Not what we do. Not what we
Well,
do.
I'm gonna get
So,
all into that. I have a crazy agenda for you, bud.
mm,
But I wanted to, if it's cool, you bring it back to Rexdale for a second.
hmm
Off your 2024 beat tape, McFly, you got a beat called Rexdale on it, right?
hmm
I wanted to ask you, what makes you associate that vibe of that beat with Rexdale? I didn't
brother,
ask you that question.
my whole shit, like my every beat you hear is associated to that, bro.
Got it.
Every beat you hear is capturing that energy and that vibe of my childhood, really.
Yeah,
And McFly was a tribute to that. It was a tribute to like what basically influenced me as a kid and all those different vibes and energies. That's why the cuts that I use too, it's paying homage to like Ghetto Concept and Infinite. Like that's them in those cuts, right? And Swift, I have a lot of cuts from Swift, who passed away. And yeah, I mean that every beat I make is channeling that energy that I from when I was a kid, bro.
right.
Yeah, man.
And you know, from what I see, that's the only beat tape in your catalog. Do you have
Oh,
any
bro,
others you
yeah.
plan in the future?
Oh,
Am I
for
right? That's the
sure.
only one, right? For
Right
now.
now, yeah. I mean, besides like the instrument, I mean, Cataclysm. We got Cataclysm, Uncut Instrumentals Volume One, which was like, that's an instrumental album. That was vinyl only though, and that one was the beat, like the actual beats that I gave Davino.
Got
So
it.
including the beats he didn't use,
Right.
which was still fire to me, right?
Right.
So that's why I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put it all on one tape and give it to the world. Like the way I sent it to him
Right.
is how I wanted to give it to the world. And same thing with the Uncut Instrumentals Volume 2, the Mr. 1008
Okay.
one that was on the Mr. 1008 Deluxe Edition.
Yeah.
That like the whole A side was the beats that Boldy picked, and the B side was the beats he didn't pick. But I
Got it.
still felt like, okay, oh, these are fire. So, but right now, I'm working on a Soundwave tape.
Got
It's
it.
another tribute to my childhood. It's like a volume two to McFly.
Got it.
That one might be that one's this year for sure. I think I'm dropping that this year. Yeah,
If these are some of your older physical releases, I would have missed them because I'm sort of late to the party. But in
right.
terms of streamers, check out McFly and looking forward to whatever other beat tape you cook up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
McFly. Yeah.
So back to getting into hip hop on your McFly mini doc. By the way, I love that you shoot these mini docs, man. It's a great idea. Um, I
No
believe you
doubt.
said you started taking production seriously when you heard Doggy Style and Enter 36 Chambers. I'm wondering how old were you at that time?
Bro, I was 8. So I'm
Got
saying
it, got it.
I was like
Right,
7, 8 years old. I was a kid. Yeah,
right.
man. Yeah, man. I knew the lyrics to Doggy Style like front to back. 8-year-old kid walking down in the street, like reciting the lyrics out loud. Like I was
Yeah,
in school, everything. Like I wasn't shy in that way at all. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man.
I think I was probably like 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Eight is different, man. Eight is different. So, but I was going to ask you, what's the first hip hop song you remember hearing? Did you hear something before that? And what
Yeah,
is it
hell
about
yeah.
that grabbed you? You know what I mean?
I mean, I remember hip hop music from kindergarten because just it was everywhere. And my brother, he used to play a lot of shit. So I remember, I think Fresh Prince, I forgot the name of the joint, bro. But they had a couple music videos for it. I think Will Smith, like Fresh Prince, was like my probably my first introduction to rap, yo.
Parents just
Yeah.
don't understand that one, or
I think yeah, that one. I
right,
think that was the joint. It
right.
was off their first, like it was early, like 88,
Yeah, I
89.
think that was his
And
first single, if I'm not mistaken. I had the
yeah,
single. Yeah, I think it was his first.
yeah, I remember that. Remember Young MC?
Yeah, of course.
So Young MC, not even the first album that I owned, the a cassette, and bro, it's like fucking 6 or 7, was Naughty by Nature, bro.
Right,
The album with OPP on it.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Fire.
yeah. So I had that cassette. So and my boy, like I used to be, you know what I mean? Like all my friends used to listen to rap and shit, even as kids. And you know, it was something new and something that was like it was refreshing at the time. I mean, all music was refreshing to me. I was a fucking kid. Like my brother, you also used to listen to like Motley Crue and fucking um like Bon Jovi and
Right,
Guns N' Roses and all that shit. So I was listening to a lot of dark rock music too. You know what I
right.
mean? And I like that shit too, like Metallica, all that stuff from the 80s, bro. Especially yo, Bon Jovi had some bangers, bro, back in the days.
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, then, but can you describe what was it about Doggy Style and 36 Chambers that
Bro,
made you say, "I want to do this"? Like, because that's what it sounded like. You know?
it was the vibe, like just the music, the composition, and even the way like they were rapping to the beats. It was so catchy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a fucking amazing album, bro. That shit's a
Absolutely.
classic. That shit's a
Yeah.
fucking classic. And that resonated with me even at, like I said, at that age. And you know, come on, like if you listen to the content, an 8-year-old listening to that shit, like it was fun, man. It was fun listening to that, bro.
Yeah, I
So
remember bringing NWA to school, man, when I was like 8, man, Boogie Down Production, shit like that. But no one
yeah,
was listening to that shit in my area, man. It was just
no,
me spreading that
no,
shit. So
for
yeah,
real.
fun times though.
For real. You grew up where? North York?
North York, yeah, man.
And nobody was listening to rap out there?
At my age, at 8, no, man.
No?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
from Bathurst and Steeles, man. Nobody was listening to
Oh,
rap at
okay.
my age, though.
Okay. No
Like
doubt.
you could step out and you'll hear it on the radio, whatever's on the
Mm-hmm.
radio. But in my school, you weren't hearing it at my age, man. So I
Okay.
take credit for like putting people on to a lot of shit, growing up. But yeah, man.
Dog, I was seeing Wu-Tang logos everywhere, bro.
Yeah,
Everywhere on lockers and fucking, I was like, yo, what's that? What's that? You know what I mean? I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
the logo before I even heard their music.
But bear in mind, in '88, it's like I'm 8 years old. It's
Oh,
different. Once the night,
88? No, no,
yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no. Okay, I'm
that,
talking
that
a little
that's me,
later.
man.
Yeah,
I got my
yeah.
first mixtape when I was like 6. I had like Cool Mo D, Roxanne Shante from my cousin. Like at that time, me as a kid, I was an anomaly, bro. So yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No doubt, man.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, man. So from that time, when did you really start focusing on like production or wanting to be a producer? Was there a small window of time before you got into it, I guess, or was it like a bunch of years?
Bro, I wanted to do music, even like I said, as a little fucking kid, man. But when my brother would listen to his music, I'd act like I'm a drummer. It's like, yo, I wanted to
Right,
be a drummer and shit. My parents bought me a drum set, like a little fucking kid's drum set. It wasn't, you know what I mean? That I
right,
was never allowed to play, you know?
right,
Um, uh, in school, I acted as a DJ. You know what I'm
right,
saying? I used to scratch on the table and, used to do little things like that. I was like 7 years old, 6, 7 years old doing that shit.
right,
I always wanted to be involved, bro, even like from early childhood, man.
right,
Um, like right when we started in high school, that's when I started rolling with those guys, like Illy Pay, 36 Cypher, Grumpy, and those guys. Um, so at the time, like I would just listen to the radio looking for like loops,
right.
you know what I'm saying? And I would just start looping those loops on cassette.
Yeah,
Start and stop. And then my brother's boy was a DJ, right? And he managed to get me his mixer, right? Which had an 8-second looper on it.
right,
So I started to loop on that. And when I got my turntables, when I got my first turntables, I remember buying a breakbeat record, right?
right.
Just for scratching. It wasn't even intentional for um to make beats, but it had a lot of breaks on there, like 100 breaks. One side was like all breaks, and the other side was just sound effects and shit.
Mm,
So I would start looping those breaks too, and then looping it with the samples and shit. So that's how I started, and then I got my ASR 10. I got an ASR 10 in I think 98 or 99,
so how old are you when you got that gear?
15,
15. Got it, got it.
and I didn't know what to do, bro. I learned. It was me, 36, and my boy Gremlock, my boy Grem. We learned together. We all learned together. Because Grem was another one. This guy Grem, he was part of this group, Mad Arsenal. It was him and Decal. And they were already doing records. And I remember hearing the joint that they made. And my boy Graham made the beat. And I'm like, yo, you made that? I'm like, oh shit, this shit is super fire.
Right.
And so like he came and I got the machine and bro, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing with an ASR, bro. Like I didn't even know what a sequence was. But by that night though, by the end of that night, I made my first beat. I made my first beat. I figured it out. You know what
Yo,
I mean?
making beats, man. Like I tried that shit. Like I was always a rapper on and off since I was 9, writing lyrics at least, then getting in the studio in high school with some friends that were into this shit, obviously. But I tried making beats, man. I found that shit too technical, and I just didn't have the patience, to be honest. But I've watched people learn how to make beats over a series of years. Like I had a producer,
Right.
this and that. I've been in the studio for a bunch of years. But what is it that gave you the patience to get through all that technical shit? But what made you persevere? Do you consider yourself like a technical person, or
No, I think I am technical because I'm forced to, but that I think it's more ambition. I think
Right,
I'm more driven with the idea of something
right,
rather than like I'll bro, I'm winging everything, bro. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like I'm learning as I go. Like it's like, okay, this is what we need to. I'm not that guy that is like, okay, I need to make sure everything is perfect before we go ahead. It's
right.
like no, like we got to move with the moment, like and whatever problems come with it, we got to figure it out after. You know what I'm saying? And whatever makes sense right now is what we're gonna do. So I wouldn't say I'm technical. I'm more
Yeah,
ambitious with the shit and just
yeah.
looking to see results and get results with what I'm doing. So with as far as making beats, like I think it was just the idea of being like a RZA or you know what I mean, or a Havoc, or just trying to recreate what those guys were doing at when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And yeah, just like I said, it's more so of the idea of creating something. And even though the first beats we made were trash, but it was just like, bro, we made this from nothing, and that meant something to me. And if somebody liked it, it was even better. You know what I'm saying? So.
That's crazy because you talk about producing as it's basically one experiment after the other, man. You're just
Hmm.
testing shit out, but the amount of experimenting you have to do to reach a level of quality and consistency that you have, I'm just imagining the hours in the studio where you could just say you're
Bro.
doing shit on the fly, but to everyone else, it comes out like a fucking masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It definitely took time to get to that level though. You know what I mean? Because it's also trying to figure out what kind of a producer you want to be. You know what I mean?
right.
And because hip hop is so diverse, and
Right.
especially in the early 2000s, the 2010s, like the type of rap we love was not popping. And
Yeah.
so when you're in a neighborhood in a group where everybody's doing music and everybody's
Yeah.
trying to fucking do what's gonna get them on the radio, and you're trying to be involved, so you're giving them stuff that is not really your cup of tea, but you're just trying to get in the mix type thing. So you're making beats that you probably don't even like,
Yeah.
and thank God for this lane, bro. You know what I'm saying? Thank God for this shit because now there's an outlet for what I specialize in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So I think it's fair if you agree to break up your music career, before meeting Danielson, after meeting Danielson, because you told me linking up with him changed your life, right? Is that a fair statement?
It definitely, yes, I
So
would say it definitely changed everything for me for sure.
that's amazing, man. So I want to start before meeting Danielson, if that's cool with you, man, because
Yeah,
I
let's go,
went
man.
back. I went back. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So I caught a note that you went by the name Soundwave and Futurewave at some point. Can you
Hmm.
break that down for those that don't
Soundwave
know?
was given to me. So Soundwave was a name that was given to me by 36 Cypher because of if you see the character Soundwave in Transformers, how he and Megatron used to move
Right.
together, right?
Got
So
it.
he was like, "Yo, bro, you remind me of Soundwave, like the way you carry yourself and the fact that I was doing music and with the speaker box and all the cassettes and shit like that." So he's like, "Nah, your name is Soundwave. You're Soundwave, bro." So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, bet, man. I fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? Especially, with the character that Soundwave was in Transformers. Like, I was like, hell yeah. I mean, he's the one that shot the Megatron cannon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's the one, you know what I mean? So he's the guy.
Right.
Soundwave's the guy in the Decepticons for sure. So um so Futurewave was my company. I
Mm,
made a company. I was early, bro. I was thinking ahead, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is back in 2008, whatever. I registered a company called Futurewave Sound Design and Production.
mm.
So I went to Harris Institute. Um, Harris, the school.
Is that for
It was,
engineering, for music
yeah, it's like
engineering?
music management, audio engineering
Right.
school.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So I was trying to, get in over, trying to get into the game like that and fucking, so during that time, I made my company Futurewave Sound Design and Production. And so then after Kendrick dropped, right around 2010, 2011, you know what I mean? Those years. and I found out his producer's name was Soundwave, and he spelled it exactly like the way I spell it. So I'm like, fuck, man. I can't use that
Right.
name. I can't
Yeah.
use that name. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, fuck it. I'm just gonna go by Futurewave. I have it registered and I was
Yeah.
like, yo, if anybody else uses that name, I'm sticking with it. And I was
Future
six
Wave
foot
is
seven, the
cooler. It's
wave god
cooler,
too.
man.
I was gonna be wave god. I was calling myself the wave god too.
Right.
I came up with it because of my phone number. It was 647 wave god.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I made my Twitter handle that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah, man.
so I went back and saw you're part of a group called, was it Grindhouse Project,
Oh yeah,
GHP,
yeah, yeah. That's my
in the
brothers
early
right there. Yeah.
2010. So I think I
Yeah.
peeped a bunch of the albums off of Bandcamp
Oh, you
because I
found
like to,
them?
yeah,
Fire,
man, I like to see
fire.
the progression. It's interesting to me as someone that, has pursued this shit on some level, right?
Right.
Um, was that the first group that you were part of? Was that
No,
like, got it?
no, no, no. Like I said, I was originally the first group I was ever with, like I said, was Illy Pay, 36, Vertigo, and Grumpy. And but yo, 36 Cypher
Yeah,
was always there.
got it.
Like he was always there. So it was first that, and then it was Shining Path. There was a group called Shining Path with my boy Decal,
Hmm.
Gremlock, Spuddy, and and 36 Cypher. And
Right.
then after that, that was a thing for a bit. Like these guys, they got some joints on the radio and shit at the time. They were doing their thing. Um, then after it was Grindhouse, and Grindhouse was me, Astro Mega, who's another producer,
I
and
remember
who's
his name
actually
from back then. I remember his name.
yeah,
Chase
and he's
Motivate. I
yeah,
remember too.
Trace. And me and Trace have an album together. And it was yeah, so me, Astro Mega, Trace, and 360, 36 Cypher. Yeah, bro. That was more like that album I could say was my first like the first time I really started to be like, yo, I'm taking this shit serious. You know what I'm saying? And I really thought we had something at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you listen to the bro, I could send you some shit. I could send you some shit from that time, bro, that sounds like what mans are doing today. Like
Yeah, no, I, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I cut you off.
Me
Go
and
ahead.
360 were listening to like stuff from 2006, right? Oh, another group was MCP. It
Hmm.
was a group called MCP, which was MCP really was a production crew. You know what I mean? It was me, Graham, fucking my boy Wiz, Wisdom, and 36, and there was my boy Savage, and I think this guy Midas. I forgot. I think his name was Midas at the time, and so we were listening to songs that we did for that compilation, bro. And I'm like, fam, like, yo, we gotta let this go. We gotta put this out because we gotta let people know, like, this is nothing new. This is nothing new to us. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
something that we've already been doing for so many years, and it holds up, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, it was quality, and you're still giving different looks in your production, but there was overlap with what you're doing today, I think, for sure.
Mm.
From my
With the
ears,
grindhouse, with
with
grindhouse.
Grindhouse, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
definitely, man.
so in the Bushman Bodega mini doc, you had a segment about strongly considering, for lack of a better word, throwing in the towel with music because you thought that your production style was no longer resonating. That was common for a lot of people that came up in the era you came up in or I came up in. Around that time, things started to wane for you. Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that time. Did you consider changing direction in your life and like doing something else
Yeah,
with your life
hell,
at that
hell
point
yeah,
in
man.
earnest? Can you take us back to that
Definitely.
time? These are very foundational times for an artist, So
You know,
yeah.
I gotta give it up to another group that I was involved with, another production group called the Lost Info, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And my boy 80s, old man 80s. Like he's one guy that from day one was always in my ear, like, bro, you're the greatest. Like you're the illest producer ever, bro.
Mm,
Like you're the best, you're the best. I just didn't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Because like I
right.
said, I wasn't getting the looks. Nobody was rapping on my shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
nothing. And but he was like, nah, we're gonna fucking blow you up. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like he was there from the, I met him in Harris. I met 80s in Harris,
Mm,
Harris Institute. And Blanks also as well, who was another member of the Lost Info. He was another guy that I met in Harris too. So we all came together. We were all cool and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we're like, yo, let's just fucking roll together, you know what I'm saying? And try to see what we could do together as a unit. And so I gotta say, during that time, like 80s, before I linked up with Daniel Son, 80s was definitely vital to like keeping me moving through those years.
mm.
You know what I mean? Because I was about to say, oh, fuck this shit, man. Like, this music shit's whack, bro. Like, I can't. Either I'm whack or this shit is whack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if it was made for me. But then and that, linking up with, another crucial thing was linking up with Bozak, my boy Bozak. You know Bozak Morris?
Yeah, I actually met him last summer at the Action Bronson Conway
Okay.
concert. Shook hands, man.
Yeah.
So got
Yeah.
introduced. Yeah,
Bozak was one of the first guys that I knew that was pressing vinyl. And, he was cooking with West Side Gun and Conway. This was before, like I heard their music already. I think they just released at that time. They just released the album with Big Ghost.
right.
You know what I mean? And
By the
so
way,
'80s.
that's when I started tapping out. I was watching from a distance. I was no
Yeah, I think it was
longer
like
like deep into this shit. So
I think it was like
thank God.
2015 or something like that.
Yeah,
2016 around that time.
yeah,
And so '80s was like, yo, you need to listen to this shit. So he sent me the Big Ghost and album and them. I was like, yo, these guys kind of sound like Wu-Tang Killer Army. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
At the time. I'm like, but I fuck with this. He's like, bro, this is your shit, bro. You fuck with this. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. And I slowly started to listen to their catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like I would tap into, I think Hitler 2 at the time, Hitler 3. This is right around the time Reject 2 was about, I think, just dropped or about to drop. And but Bozak, Bozak had he had the Never Change joint and I think Mac 90 song. And I came to his studio and I helped him mix it. So I helped him mix it, and I was blown away by those two songs, bro. I was like, bro, this is the illest shit I heard in fucking years, bro. And so
yeah,
then I really went and listened to them. I really started to listen to Griselda at that point.
yeah,
And I was like, bro, this is fire. And I would go to Blanks' crib. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, you need to listen to these guys. I played him the shit. But he's like, nah, bro, you need to listen to Daniel's son. And Blanks is like, he was early with
Blanks
Daniel's
put you
son.
on to him. Blanks put you on
Bro,
to him.
Blanks is the first guy to put me onto Danielson, bro. Because I think he was cool with Soze, Cypher Soze.
Hmm.
I believe Cypher Soze, I don't know, there was a connection there between them. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he was tapped in early with their music. And so he would play me Danielson shit, and I play him the West Side Gun shit. And bro, you know what I mean? And then I think I told Bozak about Danielson. I'm like, bro, you should check out Danielson, whatever, whatever. And they then cooked up a song called Karate Practice.
Hmm.
And I mixed and mastered that song. And Daniel heard it. And Daniel's like, bro, this shit sounds amazing. I'm like, fam, I make beats, bro. You know what I'm saying? I sent him a pack of beats and we got Beetlejuice out of it. And we got Gunrunner. I sent him the Gunrunner joint with Hus Kingpin. And that's when he got on that song. And fucking, bro, from there, A-Sun got him on Summer's Fucking Over. Bozak also
You,
introduced me to A-Sun,
can,
right?
can I slow us down for a second? I have a whole
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
segment
yeah,
on
yeah.
that.
This is all because this all comes together, you know what I'm saying?
No, no,
And I'm
it's
all
great.
over the place.
No, 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 you're not. It just, bro, I want to cover so much that I
Yeah.
don't want to miss. If that's cool with you, bro, I
Nah,
don't
for
mean to
sure,
be
for
rude,
sure.
man. I want
No,
to
no
slow
doubt.
down for a second. So, how did being a fan of Griselda influence you to change your sound, if at all? Because
Um,
when I spoke to Daniel's son, when he met you, he said you already had your sound. Okay, but
yeah,
how did
not really.
Griselda influence you? Did they, or you already had your sound? Like, how would you
I mean,
explain that?
they did just like the way they influenced me was that, yo, you can do this. Like, there's other people doing this type of rap
Okay.
that you love. Bro, that Beetlejuice beat, you know Beetlejuice? This
Yes.
Wave
Yeah.
God?
Yes. Yes.
Brother, that I made that beat in When did I make that beat, bro? That beat was fucking old, bro. I made that like in 2010, 2011. So I already had, and same with the Gunrunner joint. Those are old beats, bro. Like I already been cooking joints that's kind of in that vibe,
Right.
you know? So I was making other shit too. I was doing some experimental fucking. I was trying to find a different sound and shit, whatever. But that was my core sound, right? So I would say what they did for me was just let me know like, yo, there's a pocket of rap that's doing this shit and you could be good at it and successful at it. And
So
seeing what Bozak was doing also kind of pushed me in that way too, to
got it.
just press the gas on the shit.
And to me, having gone through pretty much most of your catalog that's online, it seems, I definitely see that at that stage there was a shift to going straight into doing the shit you like, it seems. Like it
Yeah,
seems
yeah,
that
yeah, 100%.
experimentation of doing different sounds, more accessible
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
kind of fell
fuck all
away.
that.
Is that about right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I went all in. And Bozak knew me for doing something like, because I had this joint with this guy Perry on at the time that they were playing on the radio and that Bozak was playing and they loved the record. They're like, bro, this shit's amazing. They were loving that record. But that was more on some different trappy shit, right? And he's like, nah, this is your vibe. I'm like, nah, brother, you don't know me, fam. This is my vibe.
Yeah.
This is my vibe. Wait and see what I do when I really press the gas with this shit, bro. And I did. And at the time as well, I got the studio, you know what I mean? And like I met up with Daniel's son and you know what I mean?
It seems that like a lot of people went drumless, but you stayed with the drums. Is that
Yeah,
a fair
yeah.
statement?
Yeah. At first the drumless stuff was kind of it was cool. I didn't love it because I felt like, okay, this is anybody could do it. You could do it. Anybody could do it. I thought that, but then after I realized, like, bro, not anybody could just find that loop, though. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
because when it comes to drumless beats, it's the work is the digging, is digging for that loop and knowing
Right.
how to loop it. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
might loop it at the most basic spot that everybody does, but then someone like a Rock Marcy or a Craven or whatever, they'll find a different pocket in that loop and they'll be like, oh shit, like that's fucking dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So loop based beats is definitely it's fire, bro. Giallo Point was like the man with that shit too at that time.
Right. But I
Yeah,
think it's
man.
kind of cool that drums stayed fundamental, it seems, throughout for you, man. The
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
drums. So yeah, man.
definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
so the more MCs I talk to, like when I put people onto different MCs, one of the most common responses I get, oh, that sounds like Griselda, or that sounds like West Side Gun, or that sounds like
Hmm.
Conway.
Hmm.
I talk
Hmm.
to some artists, some get tired of that comparison, and there's people that think, the grimy shit started before that, but they had the good fortune of taking off, they put in the work, etc. What do you think of that commentary?
I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, they're the ones leading the charge. I mean, technically, like we're playing in their field. You know what I'm
Got it.
saying? That's
Yeah.
why it means so much for an artist to get featured with a Griselda, like a West Side Gun or a Conway, especially West. Like West is the ultimate curator. You know what I'm saying? So if you get a look with West, like it kind of solidifies you of like, yo, you're one of the guys in the lane type thing.
Right.
So because this is their lane, like we can't deny that. And um, although I would prefer not to kind of depend on that, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I understand why people look at it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's cool to get your perspective because you're one of the
yeah.
architects in this lane. So it's
I
cool
mean, shit. I
to
mean,
get that
Danielson, like I
perspective.
said, when I first discovered them, I discovered Danielson at the same time. So
Right,
Danielson was also very early, and it was more Ito, bro, there's a bag of fucking people from that time that was doing it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just Griselda. So, but I understand why people look at it that way though. Like this is a Griselda sound. They're the ones that made it popular again, you know?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
the
man.
ambition of every artist is to stand out on their own ultimately, but yeah, completely
Yeah,
understandable. But
definitely.
um, what is your argument for the grimy lane being the best lane in hip hop? I know you said it through DMs. This is the best lane. I thought I'd ask Futurewave. What is the argument for this lane being the best lane in hip hop?
Because it's the lane that I love, bro. It's the
There
it's
we
the
go.
type of rap that I love personally. So it's a little
Right,
selfish for me to say it, but I mean, to me it's crucial because rap for a long time was just fucking whack, bro. And there's so many layers to rap that this type of sound was completely swept under the rug. Nobody cared for it. Nobody paid attention to it. And it's like, oh,
right,
that shit's old. That's old 90s shit. Oh, you think you're Wu-Tang, you think you're this, da, da, da. I
right,
heard it all,
right, right,
bro.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, now I'm a wannabe alchemist, right? Before I was a wannabe RZA. Now I'm a wannabe alchemist from what some people say. And it's like, so it's definitely very important, I think, for music, you know what I mean? Because it even when it reaches like a higher level, like on a commercial level, it's gonna give the people like different varieties of sound, not just
yeah,
one generic based sound. Because
yeah,
like that to me, like is not it like what they do on the commercial side is not special anymore. But if you
yeah,
were to add a different flavor to it, a different type of sound, like a soul loop or something to it, you're gonna balance everything out. And
right,
so there's some dope commercial shit that you'll realize like, oh shit, this is actually dope because there isn't so much of it. You'll pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
So it's important to have balance, is what I'm trying to say, yo.
Yeah. Personally, I think I like referring to you and Danielson a lot. There's something in the DNA of what you guys are doing between the production and cadences. It's magic to me. It's magic, bro. The era I came. It's like the '90s on steroids. I don't want to say it's the '90s just to make it sound like it's copying the '90s. It's taking
Mm,
it to another level with your
right.
engineering and shit like that. So that's how I look at it, man. So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, man. I mean, that me and Daniel's son, like it was like the way he approached the beats and the way his voice projected on the beats, to me, it was perfect. Like
perfect.
for like a
Yeah,
yeah, like a pressure cooker. I don't know if I sent those beats out, those exact same beats that was on pressure cooker, and I sent it out to different artists, brother, then they probably wouldn't even use it. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
he used it and he made it like that level. He made it that special. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah,
beats are nice. Beats are nice, but he made it even better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching an old interview where you mentioned like winning a beat contest with the Lost Files. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was playing
Lost
like
info. Yeah, yeah.
Lost Info, sorry, playing down
Yeah.
south beats, and you guys won.
Yeah.
How important was that to you as a lifeline
I
in your
didn't
shit?
want to do it, bro. I didn't want to do it. I'm not into that shit. Like, cause especially the way that it all went down, I was like, bro, I'm not into um situations where it's like pay to play type situation.
Right.
And when I realized like those beat competitions, you gotta pay a certain amount and then you gotta help sell the tickets for the venue and all this shit. I'm like, bro, fuck that. I'm not about that type of shit. But the guys were like, "Oh no, we gotta do it. We'll sell the tickets. We need you involved and shit." And I'm like, "All right, cool, man." You know, it was really 80s that really pushed me to do it. And so I did it, bro. I mean, I I I hated it. I didn't enjoy it, but we fucking won anyways. I mean, Rich Kid was a judge, Wonder Girl was a judge,
Mm,
and Rich Kid, Wonder Girl, and Cardo.
got it.
Cardo
Got it.
was, yeah. So that's a pretty serious line of judges right
Yeah,
there, bro. Yeah,
definitely.
they gave it to us because, bro, the whole front row was for us, bro. You know what I'm saying? I got my wifey's sister. She brought all her friends. So the
Yeah.
mad girls were there, bro. So we had mad girls just going crazy for us. So the judges were like, "Oh shit, like, yo, these guys have up the shorties like that." So it's like, fuck it, they gave it to us. You know what I mean?
What year was that?
That was I think 2015.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah,
do you
man.
scratch as well? Do you scratch on your records? You know
I
what? These days you don't hear scratching like you used to. But I still get hooked on the golden era, man. When people were
I
scratching hooks all the time. But I thought I'd ask, do you scratch at all? And do you scratch on your own records? Because there's not that
mm,
much scratching across your
I
catalog.
could, I could, but I don't like it. I think it could get tacky.
Mm,
There's a certain way to do it that I like. I like
mm.
I like it. I like the raw cuts.
Do you DJ competitively? You know, it's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, not competitively, but I don't like competitive style scratches on records though, is what I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah, yeah,
say.
that's right. And then you're talking about evidence, right, or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah, because they had Babu and shit, and it was so like I think it became pretty gimmicky,
Right.
that type of sound. And to be honest, I was never a fan of those kind of cuts anyways on records.
Mm,
I like the way Primo did it.
mm.
Even like the way RZA did it on some records, like it was super raw. I fuck with that shit. Um The more raw the cuts, the better. Like even if it's off and not super technical, I kind of like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I like the rawness of it. So I mean, I probably would do more scratching on records if I had a setup for it. But I don't have the space for turntables right now because I don't
Right.
have a studio anymore, bro. You know what I'm saying? I haven't
Really?
had a studio. Yeah, I haven't had a studio for like 4 years now, maybe. So I've been
How did you engineer in headphones?
uh a little bit, but I have like I have three references that I use.
Right.
I have two sets of headphones and my car, bro.
Yeah, the
The,
car is a secret
the
weapon.
brother, if I could mix in a car, my shit would be like I would knock them out like right away. At least
Right.
mastering in a fucking whip. You know what I mean?
Do,
A dependable whip.
do you feel that holds you back, or you're so used to this working around, not having a studio that
No, I've mastered my sound. Like that's why I
got it?
think with which project was it when I didn't have the studio? I forgot. There was like a time period where my mixes were not good. You know what I'm saying? There was like a batch of mixes that I would like, a batch of projects that I would. Yeno Dushi,
Hmm.
I want to get redone. So I want to
Really,
mix it again. Yeah, I want to
that was
mix it
incredible,
again
man.
and master it. I want to
Mm.
remaster that shit. I'll get GP to master. I can master it too, but I'll get GP to master it. When you master music, it's better to have an outside ear, bro. Especially when you're the producer and the mixing engineer,
Yeah,
you need someone else to do it. It's not that you can't do it. It's just that you're too close to the music, bro.
you're in
And
the
it
weeds, and you're lost in the weeds.
Yeah, and it was bro, like guy like Ev. One time I was talking to Ev, and he was like, bro, you're insane for mastering your own music.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's like, you can't. Like you got to give that to somebody else. Nobody really masters their own music unless they have to. I was doing it because I didn't have a budget. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I just did everything on my own, bro. I remember with the Trace, going back to the Trace album, the Put 'Em Up High. We gave it to a very well-known engineer out here. Um, and I hated what he did. I
yeah,
fucking hated it, bro.
yeah.
So I was like, fam, I'm mixing my own shit. I'm not getting nobody to mix my shit. So that's how I started
At,
mixing my own stuff, bro.
at this stage, if you had your way and you could hand it off to sound reliable, for cheap, would you do it, or do you prefer to be hands
No,
on at
I,
this
I, I
point?
think I think my mixes are on par with I think my mixing I'm on par with whatever
I,
everybody else. But the mastering,
yeah,
definitely I would give to somebody else for all my projects. But it's just like I said, when you produce, mix and master your own music, you kind of need a different ear.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
must
need
get. You ever get tired of this shit?
bro, the mastering process is what takes the longest for me, bro.
Right, right,
When I'm mastering other people's shit, it's like
right,
boom. I know exactly what to do. I know I hear it. I know, you know what I mean? Because I'm not married to it like that.
right.
You know what I mean? So I'm listening to it from a different technical side.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I know exactly how to knock it out. But my own shit, I'm listening to it like 10 times in the whip over and over, and I'm
yeah,
like, yo,
yeah.
fuck it, bro. I'm not doing that no more. It
like a
takes too much
crazy
time.
man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna ask a funny question. The apartment building you're in, is it soundproof? Like, can you bump shit, or is it one, or like, and get away with it, or
I
you
mean,
driving your neighbors crazy,
no, no,
man?
no, no. I don't play my music loud, believe it or
Got it.
not. I
Got it.
don't. Even when you mix, like you're not supposed to mix loud.
Right.
You're not supposed the little trick is you got to mix actually really, really quiet.
Got it. Got
Because
it.
then you hear certain details that you don't hear when you play it loud.
Yeah.
When you play it loud, it's like, bro, there's a lot of things going over your head. It's like you just don't hear it and you're just enjoying it, you're vibing with it, and you know what I mean? But yeah, when you get technical with it, then you gotta fucking turn it down and just really start listening. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. So I'm going to get into the Danielson era. I'm really looking forward to this. Just before I do that, I know we lost a few folks. They're joining back. We've got Size Greeny in the house, Jay Roberts,
Man,
Cameron
shout out Jay
Mahoney
Roberts.
flying
Shout
out
out
to New
Jay
York this
Roberts.
weekend for his album release party. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
thank you all for joining. A lot to talk about, so I'm not going to slow down too much with the comments, but we'll get right back into it. So Danielson era, man. So I'll tell you why chopping up about you and Daniel's son's story is the one that interests me most in Canadian hip hop personally. This is going to be long winded, but we could stop and you could comment if you want. So, A, as per your Bushman Bodega doc, you said you were close to throwing in the towel. You thought people weren't going to buy into that grimy sound anymore. That represents a lot of artists from that era that sort of fizzled out. Even me as a rapper, my style often I would people tell me it's old school or whatever, right? So it's relatable to me. But
Hmm.
seems you found a timing and opportunity to flip the script on it. You didn't become another statistic in music. Most people are a statistic that throw their hat in the ring, man. So that's A. B, you're Canadian, and historically, we were always in a disadvantage to US rappers, especially in the grimy street lane. And you and Danielson made it work and put us on the map. C, you're a foundational producer to this lane, who many consider to be the GOAT or one of the GOATs, and you're held in high regard around the world in the underground. At the same time, you're still an accessible person. So to me, this is relatable. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then D, and then I'm going to let you talk, so I apologize. Most importantly, I believe the string of projects you and Danielson put together is the best I've ever heard personally in hip hop from an MC producer combo.
Wow.
Overall quality with the production, Danielson with the bars and cadences. People can debate me on this. I don't really care because it's my experience, it's my opinion, right? So, yeah, man. Any, do you have any response before I continue?
Fam, other than bro, thank you, man. That means a lot to me, bro. I know what me and Daniel Son have done is special, bro. I knew it from the first album, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just knew right off the bat. I remember when those first sessions, like even that's why Baggage Claims is so special to me because it has some of the first songs that we recorded together in the studio,
Yeah.
right? Which is Sweet Peppers, French River, um, Pinstripes. There was the Rec Ali joint.
Right.
And there was bro, we did like five songs, bro. And the song that really made me say like, wow, like this could be something is Sweet Peppers.
Mm.
Because that song when we didn't go to the studio, the beat wasn't made, no lyrics were written, no nothing. And so we got everything out the way that was prepared for the studio session,
Yeah.
right? And then we're like, yo, let me cook up. Let me just make a beat right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me cook up a beat. And bro, I started making the Sweet Peppers beat, like just started with the drums. And this guy is already like there, like fucking going in. It's going in, just fucking writing. And came with the sample, and Danielson's like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like, you just made that? He's like, yo, you just made that right now? I'm like, yeah, bro, just put that shit together. You're seeing me, you're hearing me, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, bro, he cooked we cooked the whole song. And that song was done in like the beat to the lyrics to the recording. I think max it was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I
It's
was
in,
blown away.
it's incredible. I interviewed him and he learned writing structure in like these hip hop what do you call them, websites, forums. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But he's
yeah,
put so many reps in. His shit is so structurally sound, but he writes quick. That's the thing I find crazy as someone that
yeah,
spent years writing himself, man. So
yeah. See,
yeah,
at that time, like we were just recording. We were doing that every weekend. Like
right.
so during the week, like let's say like on a Thursday or a Friday, I'd spend some time and I put together some beats and shit. Because I'm not the producer that makes beats every day. I don't. Like
Right.
I don't. I don't have a batch of beats I could just send out. I
Mm,
don't. Like once I know, okay, this is the objective, then I go and I attack and I prepare for that, right?
mm,
So at the time, even during the making of all those albums during that time, I think I just make beats on a Thursday and Friday. I just spend time cooking. And whatever I made, I sent to him. And he would be like, okay, I use this, I use this, I use this. And then Saturday we would go to the studio. We would like the first maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 hours, we would knock out the joints that we had prepared for that fucking session. And
right.
then once all the guys came, like everybody came by the evening time, I'm there just making beats now. So I'm just cooking beats at the studio, and this guy's just there writing, 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 and fucking a lot of joints was made that way. Almost every song that we cooked on the spot, beat and raps came out.
So
Everything came out.
so let's run down your catalog quickly. And by the way, when I interviewed him, I spent a lot of time going through all his music. I OD'd on all your guys' work, and I did it again when I interviewed you. I revisited all of it again. So 2018 Pressure Cooker,
Hmm.
2018 Physics of Filth, that was
Yeah.
Daniel Son and Ace in Eastwood.
Yep. Yep.
2019 Yenel Dushi, 2019 Moonshine Mix 2. I don't know where
Hmm.
Moonshine Mix 1 is. I don't see it on your Spotify, but
I never did Musha Mix one. I
right.
mastered it. I mastered it,
Th-
but the Crate Division produced that one.
right. Okay, and then 2020 Bite the Bullet. That's
Hmm.
Danielson and Ace in Eastwood. That shit was magic. You know what I'm saying?
It was a moment
20.
for sure.
We're gonna talk about it for sure. 2022 Sun Tzu and the Wave God. Crazy album, crazy soundscape. 2022 As the Crow Flies. That's Danielson and your boy 36 Cypher. 2024 Bushman Bodega. Look, I'm catching up. I copped that from Danielson as a show, the bundle.
Fire, fire.
And then 2025 Baggage Claims. I'm waiting for that in the mail. Yeah, man. So how did so we talked about how you first kind of came in contact with each other. My understanding was you guys met at a video shoot. Maybe I got
Yeah.
it wrong.
No.
Ace and
You're right.
Eastwood was telling me when I interviewed you. You want to
Hmm.
tell us about that?
Yeah, that's a fact. So, like I said, at that time, I already mixed and mastered karate practice for Bozak and Daniel's son. So me and Daniel kind of already were talking, you know what I'm saying? Through
Yeah,
DM and shit. Um, and that, but Bozak, so Bozak had a son on his radio show,
right.
and he posted it in his Instagram story at that time. And I'm like, bro, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, it's Asun. I'll introduce you guys. This guy, his name's Asun Eastwood. I'll introduce you. Literally, bro, the same week, I sent them a pack. I'm on the phone with Ace. You know, mad cool. Ace is one of like the coolest people, bro. Honestly, very good. He's a very good dude, bro. Very good guy.
I'm
And
looking forward to meeting him in person, man. We had a great interview, man.
great
Yeah,
energy. Great
yeah,
energy. And
yeah.
fucking so I sent them a pack. And then he sent me back like 3 songs. You know, as a matter of fact, some of those songs, those other 2 songs never came out. I actually want to listen to them. But one of those songs was "Summer's Over,"
Right.
right? And he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna get Danielson on it." I'm like, "Fire!" Danielson is like one of my favorites right now. He's like, "Hell yeah, let's get Danielson on it." So he got Danielson literally like fucking Daniel sent the joint back within the same day. You know what I mean? As Daniel sent the verse back, and by the next couple days, the song was mixed and mastered. And a week later, I met him at a video shoot, bro. I met him. I met Ace in person. I met Mercenary. You
Mm.
know, Mercenary's the one shooting the video. Who else did I meet that day in person? Fucking, the rest was probably like I think 80s. I think 80s pulled up. I think Bozak pulled up to the video shoot. Who else pulled up to the video shoot that day? I could be wrong. I probably would have just been. It was probably us. You know what I mean? But for some reason, I think there was more people there. You know what I'm saying? I think there was more people there. But yeah, that's when I met those guys, and bro, I just told Daniel because I found out Daniel's son lives in fucking Brampton. So I'm like, yo, I'll drive you back to the crib. He didn't live too far from where I lived. And one thing, bro, that really impressed me with son because, bro, growing up, you know what I mean? We used to get busy with the fucking weed and the alcohol and shit.
Right,
And bro, this guy was a fucking chimney and he was down in drinks like it was nothing. And I'm like, bro, he's so well composed. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I'm like, bro, I'm impressed, fam. Like you're
So he was
young and you
probably
fucking
working in the studio like that, I'm guessing,
oh yeah,
or
bro.
no?
Been having studio sessions was crazy.
Right.
But yeah, like yeah, I was impressed with the way he handled himself, man. So I'm like, bro, I'll drive you home. You're fucking ripped, bro. I'll take you home. So I drove him back and I told him, like, yo, fam, I got this now. Like, I literally just got the studio. I think I got the key to the studio that same week. And that weekend he pulled up, bro. That's when we did Sweet Peppers and all that shit, bro. And the rest is history, man. You know, we became best friends, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother right there, for sure.
That's dope. A dope story. How crazy is it that him and Asen are doing a show, and like everyone opening? Crazy Cypher, Soze. Who else was on it, man? I'm going for sure.
I
I think
mean,
that's crazy.
it's been a long time coming, bro. I think COVID fucked up a lot of shit, man. And a lot of things happened during COVID. You know, communication is important, bro. You know what I'm saying? Between everybody. When you stop talking for a certain amount of time, a lot of things happen during that time, and it's just good that it's just good that it's actually happening, bro. Finally, I've been waiting for that to happen for a long, long time, bro.
Amazing,
You know?
amazing.
So definitely they
What?
need to do it, bro. They need to do a tour, fam.
Yeah, man. I think it serves the Toronto underground scene well. You know what I mean? For them to do
Hmm.
a show together. So,
Hmm.
what was it like working on Bite the Bullet with them two? I imagine something special was in the air in the studio
Uh,
sessions, or
Bite the Bullet was a little different. Physics of Filth was special. You know what I'm
got it,
saying?
got it.
Because we did that together. We did that in the pressure cooker. A lot of Physics of Filth songs was made during the creation of Pressure Cooker as well. The album Pressure Cooker, and like those sessions were amazing. Yeah, we would link up every Saturday. But Bite the Bullet was we did half of that album at the Gold Era studio.
Got it.
So after Finn and Sibs and those guys, they seen what me and Danielson were doing at the pressure cooker. They found their own spot, right? And they were doing their thing over there, which was amazing. That was like our second home. You know what I'm saying? The Gold
Mm,
Era. I miss that studio. That studio. If I wasn't saying nothing, I'm like, yo, bro, I need to pull up. I need to see somebody. I always go there. You know what I mean? I just pull up over there, and there was always somebody there and shit. So, but they had it 7 days a week.
right.
I had my spot only Saturday. But Finn and them had it for 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So
You
you could
guys are
legit
paying. You
pull up
guys are paying for
anytime.
this. You guys are paying for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These were paid for, but dog, I paid for every Saturday, all day. There was no time limit for it was like $100 a month, bro. I paid for
Wow.
my
That's
spot.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
A
crazy, man.
hundred dollars a month, and those guys they got a good deal on their spot too. You know what I'm saying? That's why they did it.
Right.
And so Bite the Bullet was made over there. Like there was a lot of emailing with Bite the Bullet. It would not
Right.
everything was done in person, but half the album we did together. You know what I mean?
So before going back on the Danielson tangent, wanted to ask you, obviously Asen is still writing his story as an artist, so to speak. But as of right now, what do you think he goes down as in Canadian hip hop? What does he represent to Canadian
Ason?
hip hop? Yeah,
Ason? Shit. I mean, he's a guy that we could thank too, bro, for help putting this Toronto scene on the map, bro. Especially with like what they're doing now with him and Fury, doing the shows and bringing, bigger acts over and
I've been
you
to
know,
one of those, man. Like big
yeah.
shows, man. Serious
Yeah.
shows. Yeah.
No, man, A-Sun's the guy, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he definitely he's another one, man, that he deserves his flowers, bro, for helping put Toronto on the map for sure. He was
Yeah,
right there
man.
with us. He was right there with us. I mean, without Ace, I wouldn't have linked with Son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way we linked. So maybe we would have connected, but not, you know, history's history, bro. And Ace Son was right there the whole time.
So back to Danielson. When you guys linked up, my understanding he had some momentum, or the most momentum he'd had up to that point, working with Crate Division. So Giallo Point, Fiber Optics. There's some other producers in there. He had the Gunners tape, Remy, Gago. Did that serve you guys well when you started working? Like, I have no idea where your name was, where his
Yeah.
name was. I'm just trying to understand when you drop Pressure Cooker, how was it received, and sort of what momentum was going into
So
that drop, if that makes sense.
it was Remo Gaji. It was Remo
Okay.
Gaji with Giallo Point. I think they just dropped, and not only that, but Division Rivals, where him and Soze
Right, right,
dropped. I
right.
think the same year.
Yeah.
Produced by Giallo. I believe Giallo produced Division Rivals, or was it? I know Crate Division did that album, but I'm not sure exactly which producers were on there. But the bro Remo Gaji at that time was the shit. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like it was the shit. Like Daniel, like at the time, people weren't happy that Danielson was working with me. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm
but
imagining,
yeah, 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 because
yeah,
like Giallo was his producer. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Um, So for him to switch it up, you know what I mean? I think for his core fans at the time, they weren't 100% happy, but because of, the chemistry that we had and how we were making the album, it wasn't emailed, it was all in person and shit. And the music was great too. Like, bro, right off the bat, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting number one on Insomniac. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? At the time, and shout out to Insomniac because their platform, like, they help create some excitement in this game too by doing those charts. You know what I'm saying? And charting the music like, okay, this is number one, this is number two, this is number three. So Summer's Over came in with number one, you know what I'm saying? And that's the first time I think I heard my song played on the radio.
Okay.
I know Bozak was playing it. I know it was on satellite radio. I think DJ Premier played it. Fucking DJ Eclipse
Oh,
played it.
wow.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I came in the game like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And it was both of
Summer's
them.
F and Over is part of Aeson's album, right? That's
Yeah,
from
yeah, that's
Aeson's
that's
album. Yeah,
Asun's
yeah,
song. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
Asun's
yeah.
song. So, um, and then when me and Danielson hit him with Beetlejuice again, it had the same type of response. And then Trust the Fucking Process off of Pressure Cooker was, bro, it knocked it out the park, bro. That
So
one did
that's
so much damage too.
that's the highest point you were at to date to that point
Yeah,
with music,
like
right?
yeah, and those are like all of the first songs I released at the time was hitting,
Right.
hitting. And so it kind of had to make people fucking notice what's going on over here. I had my first interview and shit, like literally within the month, 2 months.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And it's like I was like, damn, like this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So that thanks to those guys, bro, like it opened up the door and allowed me, like I mind you, I don't let nobody carry me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not the
Yeah.
type of person that's like, okay, I'm gonna fall back and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let this guy do the work. I'll just do this and you do nah, bro. He opened the door and I ran through that shit, bro. And I
Yeah.
and I started presenting ideas and start contributing in my way too. I'm not just trying to eat off of these guys. I'm trying to help build on this whole ship. You know what I'm saying? And make it better. Because I
Yeah.
see nothing's perfect. You know what I'm saying? And whoever I start working with, that's what I try to do, bro. I try to see like, yo, where you could improve and how I could contribute to that. And we could build together, not just musically, but business wise too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Danielson
So
was telling. I want to talk about your label in a bit, but Danielson was telling me you carry a lot of weight, and he feels compelled to do extra shit just to counterbalance
yeah, I
what you bring to the
appreciate that,
table
man.
with each project. So when I interviewed him, he said he took a risk working with you because he sort of had a sure thing with Crate Division,
Yeah, he
but he was
did.
like, "You're the best producer he's ever worked with." Not to create any competition or whatever, but the fact that you guys could cook up on the spot together was something he'd never done before, and he couldn't say no. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. It was special,
yeah,
man, for sure.
yeah, man. So um, So, and my understanding, you guys spent mad weeks in the studio. You know what I mean? When you first linked up, cooking up.
2
Um,
years, man. 2
2 years
years
nonstop.
straight,
Right.
nonstop, bro. Yeah,
So,
yeah, man.
um, I saw a post he made about baggage claims, which take us back to that time. He said the pressure cooker sessions were some of the most important moments in Toronto's underground scene over the past 10 years. They helped spark a movement that introduced our music to the world. Baggage claims is a tribute to everyone who was there. Um, yeah, man. So,
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, man, it started even like look at what Finn and Gold Era, like what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like they got their inspiration from what me and Son were doing. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
that pushed them to find their own studio and for them to do what they do. And they have their own little pocket too with Juco and fucking, you know what I'm saying, all the guys that they build with. And that's adding to the Toronto hip hop scene too. And Bozak was there. And bro, fucking a lot of people were around, bro. A lot of people were around for that, man. And those definitely were special times, bro. And with those, without, and the most important is presenting what Toronto had to the world. You know what I mean? That to me was the biggest gain out of that whole situation. And anybody that was there benefited from it. Even Mercenary, the video guy, he was a director. He
Yeah.
got a lot of work, what I'm saying, from it. And but he was a hustler himself. Like it's not to say he needed it, but we all benefited. Anybody that was there benefited from that situation. And I would say like Daniel's son was the foundation of it all, bro. He's the one that presented the door and we all just fucking went right through it. You know what I'm saying? But Danielson, I'll always have Danielson by my side, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just because like I guess I'm a very loyal person, you know what I'm saying, and appreciative for the opportunities that people present to me. You know what I mean? And just based off of that, like not just our friendship, but just based off of that, I'll always make sure like, yo, Danielson will be good. You know what I'm saying?
So just for me to back up, I remember the Canadian scene. Not that I was in the middle of it, but since I was a kid in the '80s, little kid, watching these artists on Electric Circus, local stars, Maestro Fresh West, Circle Research, all these guys. But there was always a connotation with being a Canadian rapper, particularly like a street style rapper. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That felt like a tough sell. I would say like in
Right.
the 2000s, people were right up there, like they evolved. You know what I mean? The music, but I want to quote you. I heard you say in the Biz podcast or some other interview that Canada always had talent, that the world just got to hear about it because of the internet. But do you think
Yeah.
there is ever a time where the talent was not up to par?
No, I think
Um,
Toronto always had talent, bro. Even back to the 80s with Michie Me and Maestro.
right,
Maestro was doing big things, man. I mean, he was working with Showbiz,
right,
Socrates. Look what bro, Socrates was working with fucking Common, Master Ace, OC. Um, bro, like, and Socrates' Father Time album was incredible, bro.
right,
Amazing. I think if he released the original album, not the way they put it out, but the original album, that would go down as a hip hop classic for sure. It was up there with the best of the best. And that's somebody from our city, Socrates. You know what I'm saying? I have
right,
that cassette. I have the original album, on cassette,
right.
and it's fucking amazing. It's called the Father Time LP. And yeah,
I mean, I'll just say, from my observation, it was a long time coming to get to you and Danielson. I said this to Danielson,
yeah.
at least for me, from what I've observed. Like, you guys have a special chemistry that I think helped get us here for this lane. Yeah,
Thank you, bro. I mean, yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's definitely crazy what we've accomplished, bro. And like I said, I think presenting it to the world, like having our records in stores in fucking Copenhagen and Germany, and you know what I mean? Like you could probably find our records in those shops over there, bro. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's
amazing.
it's it's amazing.
Where was the cover of Pressure Cooker shot?
By my building, 40 Stevenson. That's
Your
that's where I
building.
grew up. That was my area, yeah.
Got it, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got a lot of great projects with different artists, but when you lock in with Danielson, it feels like the sound and cohesion, like on average per project, is on another level. You know, like you got a lot of great projects, but when you guys lock in, it's always at a certain level. I'd say. What do you agree, and what do you attribute that to?
Um, I I mean, nothing is like I wouldn't say like everything just like the sound just kind of happens, you know what I'm saying? I think it's
Right,
just a combination of what I'm making at the time and what he wants, right? And I know what I kind of have a good idea on what kind of beats he sounds good on, you know what I'm saying? And
right,
what really helps his voice. It's like I look at voices like instruments, you know what I'm
right.
saying? So not every beat is for every voice or every flow, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You could be an amazing rapper and you could try to rap on a popular sound and beat, like a West Side Gun type beat, but your record is like, you know what I mean? Like you probably need a different kind of beat. You know what I'm saying? So I think like I said, the chemistry between us, it just works. The one album I think that's very different from our typical sound is Sun Tzu and the Wave God.
Mm,
And I'll be honest, bro, and I made those beats at the same time I was cooking for Rome for Razor's Edge.
right.
So I don't know if Rome knows this, but so when I was preparing batches for Rome, there was certain ones I was be like, you know what? Let me put this aside. Let me send this one to Danielson. I'll send this one to Danielson. And yeah, that's how Sun Tzu and the Wave God was made because I wanted to hear Sun on something more jazzy, a little more musical, not so not the typical shit that we usually do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We went back to that with Bushman Bodega. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah,
Bushman
yeah.
Bodega
Grimy,
purposely.
grimy,
I was like,
grimy.
bro, I that's where I was at though. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, we need to do this. I like, you know what I'm saying? So and that's why Bushman Bodega sounds like that, and that's why Sun Tzu sounds like that. It's so different, but yeah, man. I mean, it wasn't purposely done like that, but it just turned out that way. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So watching the 2018 Northern Invasion mini doc series, it was like you were there, right, on that trip.
Hmm.
Daniel's son, Ace and Eastwood, Cypher, Soze, Finn, Mercenary was there, I think, from what I saw.
Yeah,
So
Merce
I've
was
talked
there.
to Asen and Danielson about those trips, but I want to ask you what those trips meant to you and how foundational they were for you.
Oh man, thank God I went on that trip, bro. And I wish I could have been on every other trip too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's very important to show your face and to shake hands and to meet people. You know what I mean? From that trip, I connected with Rome. You know what I'm saying? That's when me and Rome spoke, and I'm like, we decided to work together. It was face to face. It wasn't on email, it was face to face. I remember when I met Rome, like he pulled up on me. I was there at the back of the show, you know what I'm saying, watching. I think Uncle John, I don't remember who was on stage at that time, but Uncle John, but Rome pulled up. He's like, yo, you had China Streets. Bro already looked like a star, bro.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, you're Futurewave, right? I was like, yeah, we dapped up. I met China. I'm like, bro, and you know what I mean? So the next day, Rome gave us a tour of Brooklyn. We were just driving
nice.
around. I think we were supposed to pull up to like Sauce Heist studio. But it did. I think Danielson had different. I think he had a different plan at that time. We couldn't go, and but just connect. And I met Knack Davino in
Mm.
person. Um, that's why we established our relationship that way. Davino stayed with us for like a whole weekend.
Oh
You know
wow.
what I mean? That's when we recorded, like even the joints on baggage claims. We did that in person. That was
Mm.
all done in person. You know. So I would say even, going to Rochester with Riggs, Mooch, I mean, my album with Mooch started in person. You know what I'm saying? Half that album we did together in person. And same Riggs, it was during COVID,
Is the
I think.
genesis of that going out to the States and meeting these people in person?
Yeah. Yeah, it was bro, it was crucial. I wouldn't have had those albums if I didn't go
Mm.
meet them in person. You know what I mean?
Right.
We started recording it then and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crucial, bro. You got to show your face. You got to shake hands. You know, right now, I think even for me, like I've missed out on a lot of fucking opportunities, brother. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because of my current situation and where
Well,
I'm at.
you have a family, from what I understand. Danielson and travels light.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
yeah, I got a lot of baggage, you know what I'm saying? But I
yeah,
mean, it's a positive thing. I wouldn't change it for anything, bro. But
yeah,
unfortunately, it kind of hindered my career a little bit, because I could have been in rooms with, you know what I mean, the guys who
right,
people would dream to be with, and fucking, I had those opportunities. I missed them, you know what I mean? Even when Boldy and Al came out here, I could have been right there, you know what I'm saying? But my pops, he wasn't well. He was in the hospital, so I was dealing with that. My
yeah.
dad's been sick for quite some time, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So there's a few opportunities I missed out on because of certain situations, but thank God, like I'm blessed, I'm still here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I had a very successful 2024. This year is looking great. You know what I'm saying? I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? So, um, everything's looking on the up, bro. You know what I mean? But you got to show your face, bro. You got to meet
yeah.
people and shake hands for sure.
That's why I'm going to New York this weekend, man. Apparently, I'm
Yeah,
going to meet Pro and Snotty, man, which is dope.
yeah, yeah.
I've
I got. I
interviewed
haven't
Pro a
met
lot.
them.
No, okay.
I talked to Pro a lot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Me and Pro, like, I could call him, you know what I mean? We shoot the shit all the time, but I haven't met him in person yet.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
need
looking
to
forward
meet
to
him.
that. So
Same with
for though,
Mickey.
yeah, that would be dope.
Yeah.
I can't wait till they come down to Toronto. I keep saying this, man. It's gonna be Danielson, damn crazy show,
Yeah.
man.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
so for those that are just like not fully up on Futurave's catalog, some of the people we talked about, you got two projects with Rome Streets. You know what I mean? That's my first time listening to full Rome Street projects, but
That's crazy
after a
if you ask
couple
me.
listens, I caught on. I figured it out. I'm like, this shit's classic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot quickly, right? Going through your catalog.
Right, right. That's
So
crazy.
2019 Head Crack, and then 2021 Razor's Edge. Then you got one for Aldivino Cataclysm 2021. You got Mooch 2019 Boss Sauce, Riggs 2020 Substance Abuse. So yeah, and then you mentioned Knack, and again, all of this happened because you got off your ass and went on that
I
trip, right?
I
That's
met them in
amazing.
person. I
That's
met them in
amazing, man.
person, bro. Yeah, man.
So, side note, what did it mean to you to have like a project with Rome Streets, like say 2019, and then one in 2021? I don't know if your 2021 project was after he was signed to Griselda, but
No, it was I think during I mean like I was very hip to like what was going on, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I remember being on the phone with him when he was there,
right,
recording some of that shit when he first when West Side Gun was recording Hitler 8.
right,
I don't know if Razor's Edge was out already or it was in the process of releasing, but it was definitely that same summer.
right.
Um, I knew he was gonna be signed. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? I knew that was the plan. I think that was the talks or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, bro. I mean, bro is a fucking beast, man, and and he's out there the most.
right.
He's out there the most. He's at every event, whether it's paid or not. Like he's showing his face and he's meeting the people that he needs to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's like if there's any artist to follow their blueprint, it's him.
right.
He's the guy, bro. He deserves it, man.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know Danielson definitely sort of looks up to him in terms of what he's accomplished. Like he looks to him, sort of. So yeah,
Everybody should. I mean, the
yeah,
whole game should look up to him because he was a guy where he was when we first went to Jersey, Sauce Heights put him on
yeah,
the stage and he blew everybody away. Like, bro, this guy's amazing. I think at the time he had the song with Camel Monk and Riggs. That's when I first heard him,
right.
right? And I knew I said at that time he's the best in New York. I was like, bro, the Rome Streets is the best in New York, bro.
So,
He's amazing.
so before that, you knew of these guys on SoundCloud or SoundClick or whatever. Is that
Well,
what it was?
because like at the time the lane was so small,
Right.
right? It was like anybody who was kind of doing shit you kind of knew, right? Because everybody was going to the same, right? So you would Insomniac was a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Because you would see these names popping up on these lists and word of mouth too, Riggs, because I think I knew about Riggs. I think it was Daniel's son, and I was like, the next guy I wanted to really work with at the time was Riggs, right? And I think by following Riggs, I I heard Rome, and yeah, it's slow. You know what I'm saying? You slowly
Yeah,
start to
yeah,
hear guys, because of the connections, the features, and shit like that, and you get put onto what they're doing and shit. Um, so yeah, I think the pocket was so small at the time, like everybody kind of knew everybody, and
right.
everybody was kind of working together too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah, yeah,
the trip solidified it, man. So yeah,
yeah,
inspiration for
yeah.
people to go out and shake hands, as we've said.
Hmm.
So here's my personal thoughts. I feel like because of where I put Danielson's work, if he was from the U.S. with the skill set he's bringing, um, and he would be in a completely different stratosphere. If you took his story, put him somewhere in the U.S., I think he'd be in a completely different stratosphere right now, personally. Yeah, and
I don't
that's a
disagree.
compliment. Do you agree with that?
I don't disagree, man. I think I mean I wouldn't say being Canadian is it sets us back. I don't think not anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't think anymore. But it's the opportunities.
Yeah.
It's the being able to go down the street and showing your face at a certain show or being at every event. To fly from Canada to the US or it's a hassle, bro, to get across the border. Like the border is a fucking bitch, you know what I'm saying? So it's not that easy to just pick up and go. So that I think is what affects Canadian acts the most.
Yeah.
It's not that you're from Toronto itself. Like the guys in the US fuck with Toronto, you know what I'm saying? There's never an issue. But I think it's just not being around for certain opportunities and being in certain rooms, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like Raz got hit hard with the last, he was supposed to have a show with Wes and DJ Muggs at the wrestling events that Wes was doing. I think Raz was on the first one, and bro, he couldn't get across the border, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
fucked it up. It fucked
Yeah.
up his situation, at that time. So the border is a bitch, bro. So and the travel time, and you know what I mean? Being in New
Yeah.
York is so beneficial, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. So how are we doing, man? Are you still good to go, or
Fam, I'm
keep
blessed,
rolling?
yo. Yeah, yeah,
Dope,
let's
dope,
go, bro.
dope,
Let's
dope,
go.
dope.
Yeah, yeah. I
We're gonna
got I
shut.
gotta get off. The latest I could stay on is 1:30.
Yeah,
I gotta be out of here by that time.
no
Yeah.
problem, man. We agreed to
Yeah.
that. If there's anything left over, we could do a part two if you care to
Yeah.
down the
Do
road.
you
You got
mind
it?
giving me 1 sec though?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Go ahead.
gotta yeah, I'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
right
Go ahead.
back.
Go
I'll
ahead.
be
Go
right
ahead,
back.
bud.
Yo, yo, yo. You hear me?
Yeah, man.
All right,
All
bet. Yo,
right.
look what I pulled. Look what I brought, bro. Got
What is it?
fucking
That's what I'm
the
waiting
bag is
for, man.
yeah,
I
it's not this is the test press. I just have the jacket, but yeah, it's the test press. You see?
Nice, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I'm about to talk about actually right now. Baggage claims,
Mm.
man. So amazing you have work like this in the vault. I think it speaks to your guys' overall standard for quality. I don't think every MC producer combo can reach into the vault and put together 19 tracks that sound that good. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
Um,
that.
so this shit is only available on physicals through Wave God Music. Cop it. It's a piece of Toronto hip hop history. You know what I mean? So
For
yeah,
now, for now, for
for
now.
now,
We're working to, you know what I mean? Figure this
got
shit
it,
out.
got it, got it, got
Yeah.
it. And you get the digital download. You saw my
Yeah.
review. So I saw you make a post about baggage claims where you said now was the time to pull music out of the vault from those sessions. Why now? Why is now a good time for
I
this?
mean, yo, I've this was supposed to come out in 2022. Like if you look at the date of the files, I
Okay,
finalized it in 2022.
right.
So it was a matter of finding the right time between both of our schedules, you know what I'm saying, to put this out. And what really held this up was a lot of the songs was purchased by another label, but
Okay.
I had to wait the 5 years, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
To because it never came out. So I was like, we got to wait at least 5 years to drop it again, you know what I'm saying? But it never came out. The first run never came out, bro. The label went under.
Mm.
Yeah, the label that bought it. So that's
So
another reason.
so those songs, did you string them together, or was it a planned project from way back then? I think you strung them together to make an album, right?
Um, so Sweet Pepper, French River, How It Goes, Bleed the Shark, The Fume, Fly the Pigeon, Crush Stones, Run the Shop, Pinstripes was and Regular was supposed to be the first album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So a lot of
Right.
these joints was supposed to be the first album, but we just kept cooking. Like I think we were scheduled to release, I think we were supposed to drop the album in January 2018, right? But the December before 2018, bro, we fucking made so much fire. You know what I mean? And then going into like 2018, we were cooking like January, February, we were cooking so much heat that we made a whole new tape. The only song that stayed that was supposed to be on this tape was Staying Low.
Mm.
Staying Low, the song Stay Low, Cypress Sose.
Right.
And Danielson didn't even want it on Pressure Cooker. I was like, nah,
Yeah.
bro, that's got to stay on there, fam. We got to
Right.
keep that one. We got to keep
Right.
that one.
I
Yeah,
think
man.
physical's only release adds to the special factor. But what was the deciding factor
For
to?
physical only,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say physical only helps, bro. I think it hinders a little bit because people want to hear the music. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it's
Yeah.
good for collectors, but a lot of people they want to listen to your shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, the deciding factor was what I said. You know what I'm saying? Is because we just had to figure out the whole digital aspect of it and what's going on with whatever songs was purchased and
Oh,
shit.
okay.
You know what I mean? So
Got it.
there's certain things, you know what I mean? But we're good. We're good to go. It's been fucking, you know what I mean?
Got it,
I
man.
think we could drop it soon. So
Congrats. I think all the vinyl is sold out, or is there anything left for now? Or
We have a few black left. Usually I like to press a lot more.
hmm.
Um, like I don't want to limit it too much.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give people the opportunity to buy, but I know the hype of fucking selling out and shit, it means a lot for certain people. And even for the fans to know like, okay, when
Just
they
to be able,
purchase,
you said so.
yeah, yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But me,
Uh,
I understand that, but I also want to make sure that whoever wants a piece of whoever wants a product has the opportunity to get it because
yeah.
not everybody has the money right away too. So I press more than enough usually.
I've
Sometimes
heard
I
you
don't.
say
Raz, I
you like.
didn't.
I've heard you say you like to keep stuff on your storefront, like in past interviews. I don't know if that's what you're on
Yeah,
right now,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
like to
yeah.
always keep something there
Yeah,
for people.
I
That's your take on it,
I'm used to pressing 500 CDs, bro. I think
right?
Moonshine Mix 2, we did 600 CDs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Pressure Cookers 500, Wave God, I think we got 500 CDs. That's more than enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's more than enough. But yeah, like because when you have a new fan and they want to invest into you as an artist, it's good to have a piece of product for them to buy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I want to talk about working with artists in general now. In that Dirtwave mini doc, and I interviewed Pro when he dropped Dirtwave. Enjoyed those thoroughly. You narrated it, and you said like only 1 in 10 MCs will become something, for lack of a better word. And Pro Dillinger, obviously, you're implying is one of them. What do you see in Pro Dillinger?
I can't call it, man. It's just I knew it when I heard it. You know what I mean? I think again, 80s, old man 80s introduced us to Pro Dillinger at the time.
Right,
And I was out of the whole camp, I was the most impressed with him. And Snotty too. Snotty was nice. You know what I'm saying? Snotty is nice. Um, and Pro, because I think, I don't know if it's his voice, like he
Definitely.
has a very unique voice. And
Yeah,
to me, that's important for a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It could either hurt you
yeah,
or it'll work for you.
yeah,
Um, but Pro definitely has a unique voice, and the content, the shit that he says, I know is real, bro. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I would talk to him and I know some shit that's popping in his life, shit is he's going through, and then he send me a song and it's like, bro, he's rapping about it. It's like, oh
yeah,
shit, like we just talked about this and it's in the record. So it's a lot of real, like I feel Pro.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like when Pro raps, I feel that shit. Like it speaks to me, right? Some guys are just dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yo, the shit sounds fly, it's amazing. Like I fuck with that shit. I fuck with the flow. There's a lot of things to it that I like. But with
yeah,
Pro is the emotion that comes
yeah.
with his music.
The
And yeah.
the pain travels. You know what I mean? In his
The pain
delivery, like,
travels and I feel it.
yeah,
And a lot I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
and I relate to a lot of the shit that he's saying.
Right.
And and yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what it is about Pro that would make me say that. It's just I just knew that when I first heard him and then I heard the album with Finn. First time I heard the album with Finn,
Yeah, that was nasty.
like I heard the test press. I was
Mm.
at the studio. I went to go check him. I know I mean Finn was sending me the album, but I when I'm locked in, I don't listen to nobody else's shit,
Yeah,
right? So I'm
that's
just
the way
locked
I
into
am
my
with this whole
yeah.
platform, bro.
I don't really listen, bro. Like I
Yeah,
don't really listen to what's going. If you're like, yo, did you hear this? Did you hear? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
me neither. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, first time I heard the Pro and Finn album was the test press, and I had him play it front to back. It wasn't like, okay, yo, I got the vibe of that one. Go to the next one. Okay, I got the vibe of next one. Nah, we listened to it front to back all the way through, and I'm like, fam, this guy's amazing, bro. Pro's fucking amazing. So I knew from that time, like. This guy could be one of the big dogs, bro. You know what I'm saying? He definitely has the potential to be that guy. Now it's a matter of, you know what I'm saying, that it factor, the situation that will put you there. You know what I'm saying? Like that we can't control. That
Yeah,
all we can do is put ourselves out as much as we can to
yeah.
make it happen for us. You know what I'm saying?
So you guys dropped Dirt Wave 1 and Dirt Wave 2 last year. That's 20 near end of 2024. Which one do you like better? I like 2 a little better. It's a
That's
little more
crazy.
personal, man.
So
Yeah,
so if you look at the credits, it says song selection by.
right.
Right? So like you got Finn involved, you had my boy 360, you had Danielson, we had a lot of people involved, Sibs, because me and Pro compiled so much music, right? And we were like, I
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Okay, somebody's trying to call me. Hold on a
Oh,
second. I'm
okay.
trying
No
to
worries.
stop this
No
shit. Hold
worries.
on. Let me text them.
No
Give me a
worries.
moment.
No worries. No worries. Take your time.
Give me a moment. I'm in.
Cameron Bahani, Pro, one of the best and a great guy. Looking forward to shaking hands. I've chopped up with him 3 times on
All right.
IG. Time to shake hands. So, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So what was I saying? So
You cooked up so
yeah, so we
much.
cooked up like a a whole heap of songs, and when I was listening to it, because I was so married to like the older songs, like I was listening to it already, and I just liked it all. I couldn't pick what was going where. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So I sent all 20 songs that we had at that time to all those people that I put in the credits. And I was like, bro, what's your favorite tracks? Like, what's your favorite songs? Like, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? So I basically did like a vote, you know what I'm saying? A voting system. Like, so the songs that was voted the most
Yo,
was,
your camera's drifting up, bro.
oh, yeah, my
Okay, okay, okay. No
bad.
worries, no
So
worries.
the songs that was voted the most made it on Dirt Wave 1.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
that's pretty
And
smart to vote. I sometimes you shouldn't care about what other people think, but is pretty smart at the same time.
Bro, usually I don't, but in that moment,
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't know where to put what to do. So, but yo, we're cooking right now, and I think this is our best shit,
So Dirtwave 3, man, what can we expect from him? That was dope to see that announcement.
dog. Like that one is the one for me. This one is the one for me. I love Dirtwave 1 and 2. I don't know which one I'd say is better, bro. I don't know out of the two, but I would say Dirtwave 3 is the best.
All right.
You know what I'm
Something
saying?
to look forward to for sure, man.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I love
So,
both. I love every project, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's not one
yeah.
project where I'm like, I can nitpick the shit and see like what I could do different. But for the within that moment, I will not put something out that I don't stand by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Um, what I think is pretty fucking cool is that he kicked off his tour. I mean, congrats to Pro. He did like a mini tour type thing
Hmm.
in the East Coast, from what I saw. But it seems like it was timed based off the momentum of dropping Dirtwave 1 and 2, and Mickey Diamond, his feature. He was featured heavily on Mickey Diamond's Gambino's, man.
Which is
Um,
amazing.
yeah, man. So I
Hmm.
interviewed Mickey Diamond, and when he dropped that, he said that you are the pro what Big Ghost is to Mickey, man. I thought that
Right.
was a pretty cool comment, man.
That's
So
dope, man. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Big Ghost. Shout out to Mickey Diamond. You
yeah.
know, definitely.
So last time I spoke to Mickey Diamond, he dropped the bomb saying that you and him were working on a project. But is there anything you could tell us about that? Because that's
It's
gonna,
de
break the underground internet. You know what I mean?
it's
So
definitely in the works. It's definitely in the works. It's really on him at this point. Like we got everything selected, you know what I'm saying, for what it's gonna be. Now it's just I'm waiting for him, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about timing, right? It's all about timing. So, and I have faith that it's gonna come out at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So I'm very impressed with Mickey. Mickey definitely like he what during in 2023 when I was kind of like I didn't really drop much in 2023. Um, Seeing what he was doing was motivating me. You know what I'm saying? And
crazy,
because
yeah,
he was fresh, and it's so difficult to sell records, bro. It's not an easy thing to sell records, bro. I know some guys make it look easy, but
yeah,
trust me, selling records is not easy. You know what I'm saying? And he made it look easy. And and I know because I'm a guy involved and I know what everybody's dealing with, right? Um, he's a fucking unicorn, bro. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And salute to Mickey Diamond, man. His music is definitely special. Like I really started listening to Mickey Mickey Diamond, bro. Like I was saying, he reminds me of Doom, just based off of concepts and how he could take something that maybe if another rapper was to do it, it would sound like, you know what I mean, nerdy and shit, but he makes
Yeah,
that shit sound dope. Like
yeah,
he's very dope, man. And his voice is unique. He's another one that like when you hear him, you know it's him. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I talked to Pro to tell me his account of watching Mickey Diamond transition from producer to MC to selling out, physicals. He said that when he dropped his first album on Copenhagen, literally the Copenhagen network ate it up from the first one.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what makes him a unicorn. There's something in what he was doing, maybe because he sounded like Doom and brought something new to the table. They just ate it up, whereas other people got to work up to get to that point, you know?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, man, and we all noticed it, bro. You know what I mean? The whole game noticed it. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Mickey Diamond, bro. He's a fucking like I said before, he's a unicorn, man. And I'm very great. Whoever I work with, whoever wants to build with me and work with me, break bread with me, like I'm always grateful, bro. Like that somebody even wants to build and work with me, you know what I'm saying? So, and for Mickey Diamond, hell fucking yeah, I would do it, bro. Hell yeah. Like I'm all over that, man. Let's get it done.
so I mean, you do this for a living, right? Like, I don't know if you do
Yeah,
this full time. You don't have to answer if it's, too much, but
I do this full time, brother. I'm not
so,
ashamed.
so
I'm
no,
very proud of it.
that's incredible.
Um,
That's an incredible
yeah,
achievement
yeah,
statistically, bro. So,
yeah.
but I wanted to ask you, what does it take for you to work with an MC? I mean, you don't do this for fun and games. And you love what you do, but this is a business for you too, right? But what attributes do you need to see to invest time in an MC? Do they need motion? Like, what does an MC need to bring to
Definitely.
the table for you to spend time working with them?
It's definitely some type of motion. There's gotta be, you gotta show me that you can get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's it's easy to fall back and let someone else carry the weight, you know? Like I said before, music is the first step. It's the foundation of it, but it's only like 10% of the outcome. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So I gotta see what else you can bring to the table. Like what else can you do? Like otherwise I'm gonna like I would have to carry the whole weight of this ship. And I got so many people around me that I could do that for already.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I got there's a lot of rappers and stuff that I could build with and work with, you know what I'm saying, that I'm cool with, that I could work with personally, that we could build and put something together. You know what I'm saying? So it would definitely your emotion would definitely mean something. Like it has to grab my attention. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm comfortable working with who I already work with.
right.
So so it all depends on what's going on, bro. You know, like we are like nobody's gonna work with no like bro, I'm not I'll be real. I don't think I'm the greatest producer. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm the best beat maker out there. I think there's better beat makers, but I bring a lot to the table. You know what I'm saying? So you guys only want to work with me because of that. So
Yeah,
well, not guys, but I'm just saying, like in a situation, like that's what's appealing to work with that person. You know what I'm saying? So I
right.
know it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
So wanted to ask you a question. Like on this platform, I was tapped out for some years. So when I started this, I'm like, fuck it, I want to find people I think are dope. I don't care where they're at. I just want to focus on dope music. That was the foundation of me starting this. So I like finding upcoming artists, but I wanted to ask you, when is the last time you stumbled upon an MC where their talent stuck out so much, like, fuck it, I want to work with you. Like, you might not be the biggest name right now. Do you still encounter those situations where you hear someone that you
Oh yeah.
think has so much potential? You're like, you know what, fuck it. The motion might not fully be there yet, but I see it. Do you still
Sazy
partake in
and
that?
Sazy,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sazy from out here. I
I'm
think
interviewing him after Snotty. Snotty's next, and then Stacey. Yeah.
Sazy. I mean, it's hard to ignore it. I mean, everybody around me's like, Finn is working with him, and so I'm
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot about Sazy, and it's very impressive, bro. Like I'm very impressed with the guy's work. I know he's been involved already. Like he's been in the game in Toronto at least, and you know, um. he's tapped in for sure, but that's who I'm pretty impressed with right now still. Like
Yeah,
for
man.
a guy that who has motion but he's not where he should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Not yet, not yet. I like what's his name, man? Fucking New Villain is dope. I'm gonna
Haven't
name a
peeped
lot of
much of
guys
his
from out
music.
here.
Yeah, list them off, no
Yeah.
problem.
There's a bunch of guys from around here that I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? That's dope. So in from in the US. I think Vega's dope. Vega 7 is dope.
Yeah.
Um, I think what's his name? Jacking the Divine.
Jaw King.
I
Yeah,
think
I interviewed both
Jacking.
of both those last two guys. Yeah, man.
Is
He's one
is
of my
it
favorites.
Jacking or Jacking?
Jaw Jaw King, the
Oh,
divine.
okay,
Like
okay.
God,
No, no,
like
no, no
God.
disrespect. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
No
yeah. He's
disrespect. You know what I'm
amazing. He's
saying?
amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's very dope too.
yeah.
Fuck. Who else? Who else? That I'm impressed with. Yeah, bro. I'm pretty sure there's more. I just got to hear it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
honestly, fam, like whoever's getting busy and we're hearing about them, they're dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
guys are dope. Like, that's not that's not that's not the hard part, bro. Being dope isn't hard, especially today. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fam, samples are everywhere now, you know what I mean?
Uh,
Like you could get dope beats from fucking from every corner and
there's a lot of competent MCs, a ton,
yeah,
but
there's a lot of dope shit out there, but
yeah.
it's like what's gonna make you stand out from the next guy, you know what I'm saying? Is what matters the most right now, I think.
So, so I wanted to ask you, after all these years producing albums that are critically acclaimed, you have an amazing catalog. What constitutes a dope MC to you? Like, what's more important to you? Flow, delivery, lyrics? How does it hit your ears? Like, what makes an MC stand out to you
Um,
personally?
I mean, if you can spark emotion creatively, like, and you could do like you got like some crazy wordplay like Raz, you know what I'm saying? Fucking have a great presence and have a memorable voice and a memorable flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think that, and it's not boring. And it could be flies, like some fly shit. Like you could play it in the car, drive around, play it loud and shit. You know what I mean? Like do some, like not just some like real lyrical, you know what I mean? Like it's got to be some fly shit that you could play. You know what I mean? Then it still sounds great. It sounds creative. You got some witty wordplay. Um, and like I said, a memorable voice. You know what I mean? To me, I think the voice and the flow is probably the first thing that catches anybody's ear. It's the beat, then the flow and the voice, and then after, people start to listen to what you're saying.
you know what's
You know
crazy?
what I mean?
Because I spent so many years writing, and I was
Mm,
an MC. I'm so focused on wordplay. Wordplay. If someone doesn't have wordplay, I don't care what they sound like. I'm an anomaly though, but I remember reading a Rick Rubin quote where he's like, "Yo, what they say, it doesn't even matter next to
for
how it
real.
sounds." Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
That I mean, for the average listener, yes. Like
Right.
for someone that's just enjoying the music,
Yeah.
definitely. 9 out of 10, maybe, yeah, 9 out of 10 is like that. But you got those that actually listen, and what you say matters, and if what you're saying is real matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Like there, that's like a whole, like from where I'm from, I think what you say and who you are is more important than how it sounds.
Right.
But for
Right.
me, I like that creative, witty, different shit. So I'm willing to accept it from like if it's some, you know what I mean? If you're not really, I mean, you got to be saying something, but if it
Yeah.
sounds dope, that it sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that too.
You
So
focus more on the audio level, kind of. That's
yeah, yeah,
fair.
yeah. And
Yeah.
on like a bass listening level, like just enjoyable music, like you could play in
Yeah.
the whip or whatever, you know? So
Yeah.
that matters too. Like, but like I said, for a lot of people, how you live and what you say matters even more.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, true. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
dope MCs they can't sell it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I like. By the way, I like what Raz Fresco represents in your catalog. You guys got two projects together. 2021 Gorgeous Polo Sportsman, and this year Stadium Low Champions. I got that here, by the way.
Amazing.
Um, So I feel like you tend to work with a lot of grimy street type MCs. I feel like he's sort of a departure, more of a off the wall MC, anything goes type of
Hmm.
thing, sort of kind of an old school pocket. Do you kind of agree with that sentiment of what he represents in your catalog?
Who, Raz?
Yeah.
I mean, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like you think he's out of pocket?
No, no,
Is
no.
that what you
I
said?
think he brings a different flavor to your catalog.
Oh,
Like
definitely,
like you tend to
definitely.
work with a lot of MCs that are sort of in the hardcore
The grime.
street
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rhyming lane. I feel like he's a departure from that. So I like what his music represents in your catalog. It's a nice little
That's dope. It's
sort of
different,
detour. You know
definitely.
what I mean? So
And that's exactly what we want from each other, right? When we work. So he didn't want, I mean, he wasn't looking for the generic shit that we
right,
do, or and I
right.
wouldn't say generic because it's kind of downplaying it, but like this the stuff that we normally do, and also I'm looking for a different flavor from him. To me, bro, I think Bro, Raz is one of the best, bro, if you ask me. Like, I he's fucking amazing, bro. And he has the whole package. Raz has the whole fucking package, bro. He knows how to perform. He knows definitely how to put together songs and shit. And he's got the look. You know what I'm saying? And he's got the work ethic. The most important part is he's got the work ethic. So, man, besides, like,
I
I think,
remember him from like 2008, like Hip Hop
yeah,
Canada, man.
I
Young
seen him
young dude.
perform. I
Yeah.
seen him perform back in the days, him and Six Letter when they were like 17, and I was amazed even back then.
Right.
But I think besides a guy like Rome Streets, like someone that hit that level that we know personally, um, I could see Raz. Like I think Raz has a very similar work ethic to Rome.
Yeah.
Like this guy, he gets busy, bro.
I could see some stylistic parallels too, kind of like sort of off the cuff rhyme, whatever's top of mind type of
Yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah, yeah. He's got it, man. He's got it, bro. It's just a matter of it just I mean, I think it is. I think it is coming to him. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So yeah, man. Raz is like I love Stadium Low Champs. We did all that in person. You know what I
right.
mean? Even the raps, like when he was rapping, like we would have a conversation. We'd be talking like how we're talking and just shooting the shit, and then we have the beats playing. You know what I mean? Beats playing in the background, and then all of a sudden. Like I'd be talking and I just see him start zoning out. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking to him, but he's not really there. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like, and then he starts looping the beat, and then he's like, "Yo, hold on a sec." You know what I mean? And then he's just rapping in his head, rapping in his head. And the next thing you know, like, so I just go off, do my own thing. He just has the shit on loop. And then half an hour later, he's like, yo, listen to this shit. And he spits a bar, like a 16 for me. And I'm like, holy shit. He's like, bro, I just wrote that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All just in his head and shit. Then he'd rap it. And then shit we're talking about is in the lyrics. It's amazing, bro. It's just different to cook in person, bro.
Right.
And to see these guys work, man.
It's
You know what I
crazy
mean?
that
It's special.
him and Danielson live in the same building. Danielson,
Bro,
that's
that's
crazy, bro.
I'm gonna
That's
say it
crazy.
right now, bro. That's the next thing that I'm gonna do. That's the next beside after this Pro Dillinger shit. So
Right.
Mickey production is done. Um, other projects I don't want to mention is done. A lot of other projects is done that I have. So whatever I'm gonna cook next, like fresh, like the next batch of beats is gonna be for Raz and Danielson.
Oh,
I'm doing,
another project then dope.
yeah, we're gonna do a full album together.
Big news for Toronto.
Yeah, I'm
So
I'm actually really excited to do it, bro. And that one, you know what I mean? It's gonna be mad fun. I can't wait to do it.
the other their one from last year was it's North Side. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Side. Yeah, yeah,
That was a
yeah,
dope album. So
yeah.
Um, I've heard other artists that work with you say, and one of the reasons they want to work with you is you really craft the sound for the artist at hand that you're working with. So I wanted to
Mm.
ask you, do you send like beat packs to artists, or is every
Yeah,
beat made
yeah.
with the intent for the project you're about to endeavor on? I just want to add, when I interviewed Superior, that was my first producer only episode.
Hmm.
He said he never sends beat packs. He doesn't believe in that shit. Everything is custom made. So I thought I'd ask you, how do you operate?
I look at it. Look, I know some producers are like that. Like it's like this is my sound. This is what I want you to rap on. But I work more in collaboration. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like we meet each other halfway type thing. Um, because my typical sound might not be good for, like I said, it's all about the voice, right? Your voice has to fit the vibe, right? I look at the voice like an instrument, and not every beat works for every rapper, you know? So what I would do is like, okay, like if I'm, for example, Boldy James, like when I did Mr. 1008 in the next one, like I was like, okay, we're cooking for Boldy right now. All right, so then I know where to take the production. I know what samples to listen to, and you know what I mean. So I'll produce like maybe 30 beats. You know what I'm saying? I'll cook up like 30 beats for them, and I'll have a little bit of my flavor in there. Then I'll have something that's more catered to the artist of what I see them, like where
right,
I see them. and I'll send a batch, and whatever sticks, sticks. You know what I'm saying? And if the beats don't work, I'll send another batch. You know what I mean? So I do batches of beats still for sure, definitely, because like I said, it's more of a collaboration thing. I don't want to. I'm not too much of a control freak when it comes to the creation process because they gotta love what they're doing. The rappers gotta love the shit. If I'm just telling them like, "Yo, rap on this," yo, bro, they'll rap to it, but they might not love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because so, my goal is to make sure that they love what they're doing. So I'll give them a variety to pick from, and then we go from there. But with that being said, though, the moment I get the vocals, I need the vocals because whatever I'm sending is just skeletons. You know what I'm saying? It could be like just a basic fucking 8 bar loop, 4 bar loop. And the way I see it is like if the loop, the foundation of the beat doesn't catch you, then me going in and doing all the glitz and glamour to a beat before I send it to you is a waste of time if you're not gonna fuck with the
I
bass sound.
I've heard Pro and Danielson say like Danielson for example, you'll literally be in the studio, you'll program the drums, he'll start writing, and then he'll step away or whatever. But by the time you're done with that beat, it's like a whole nother level. Pro said the same
Yeah,
thing. Like you add so
yeah,
much after the fact that
yeah,
I don't know, maybe almost like a different beat. I don't remember what he
yeah,
said, but yeah,
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, fam. Like I might hear I might like the beat, but when I hear the voice on the beat,
Yeah,
it might not be it. I'll be like, nah, this isn't it. So I'll completely change the beat,
right,
or I'll add certain instruments or take away instruments. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that the voice fits what's going on and it sounds like a record. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah,
Dope.
yeah,
So,
bro. So yeah,
oh,
man.
go ahead, go ahead.
No. That's just how I approach production. So I need the vocals, bro. I need the vocals for me to really do my thing. All my projects were crafted that way, bro. So I'm not a producer that or a beat maker, I would say, that just sends a beat and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Then I'm not producing at that point.
So I'm not a producer. Obviously, I've watched the process, extensively,
Right.
but I feel like one thing about you is that the sampling part of your beats, it's often not even the central part of it's like an accent. It's like an instrument. But by the time you sort of build your drums, your bass line around it, it's just like an accent. Whereas some producers, like the sample is the entire focus of
Right.
the beat. I,
Right.
I feel that's something kind of unique to you, at least from what I'm listening to, man. I don't know if you agree with that, but
No, definitely, definitely. It's the whole piece, right? Like it's but for me, like if I'm just looping a record, right, I feel like I'm not, I mean, like I said before, like that's its own craft, that's its own art form, right? There's no knock on it. It's amazing. Like there's amazing music made with just loops, and I do it too sometimes. But I enjoy making something or transforming it into something different. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
trying to make like what I would do, I would even put like two or three samples together and mesh them all at once. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It's hard to
Yeah.
tell what's sample, what's not, as
hmm
well as a
hmm
listener,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
cool. Which is cool. You know what I mean? Um,
hmm
so wanted to spend the rest of our time for this session talking about
Right.
running a record label, man. So I found it crazy, like I read that Raz said working with you was the first time he pressed a vinyl. I don't know if he said physicals or vinyl, but I found that pretty amazing that the first time he did it was with you. On the
Yeah.
face of it, it seems like pressing up your own physicals is the logical thing to do. Now, self-admittedly, when I was like in artist mode, I wasn't even focused on business. I just wanted to be a dope MC and make a dope album.
Right.
So I don't
Right.
think artists are always thinking logically, but tell me, why don't more people just press their own physicals?
Um, I think I think the main thing is the fear of it not moving, right? And then you're sitting on all this storage, right?
Right.
But another thing is storage, is space to do your thing. Like I actually have a full storage unit
Mm,
to do my business. Like I have a place where I do it. I can't have it in my crib.
right,
Just the mailers itself, like the it's boxes upon box. But mind you, I order like 2,000 mailers at a time, right?
right,
Um, but I need a whole storage space for that. And so if you're doing a big run, like a 1,000 unit run, dog, you need a lot of space for that, bro. And most places, most people can't handle that type of volume.
right,
So I think it's the fear of it not moving the way you would like it to move,
right,
or collabing with a label that kind of already has that foundational retail outlet, right? That'll get your music out there and your physicals out there. And storage space and the work too. Like, bro, it's fucking dog. It take when we did Razor's Edge, dog, that shit took me 1 month to ship all
right.
those units.
Wow.
Because we did 15, I think I sold 1,500 units, bro, back in
I
2021.
tried selling T-shirts. I have, but like even
Yeah.
just taking those trips to the post office is fucking annoying.
Bro, it's crazy. You need to have a whole system, bro. So
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
when we first started, like I came in the game with a vinyl when me and 80s did the Justo record, right? The Lost Info and Justo album. Fuck it, we pressed 500 units, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
didn't have a name. Like I didn't know who the fuck. But I said, fuck it, let's do it, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Bozak was there doing it. I seen you know, I owe a lot to Bozak, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because he was very foundational for how I approached the game, right? And seeing him sell CDs, seeing him sell vinyl, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it too. So when I did Wave God, I pressed 500 CDs. You know what I'm saying? And I started selling through IG,
right,
Instagram, and me
right.
and Danielson did pressure cooker CDs, and we sold that through Instagram as well. This is
From
before I had
from
this
the get
website.
go, from the get
But
go.
right away, like we
You
came
made
in with
yeah,
product. Like
right.
when I came in with product, like so. Like, why not, man? You know what I'm
Y-
saying? Like CDs, anybody could do CDs, bro. Honestly, CDs doesn't take up a lot of space. It's easy to pack, it's easy to ship. You could do CDs, you could do it out of your crib. Vinyl's different. You kind of need a lot of space, working space to do vinyl, but CDs, anybody could press CDs and fucking sell it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think that's the bare minimum of at least what an artist should do is
Right,
sell your own CDs and work your way up because you'll realize there's money in that too. There's especially now, shout out to Bars Over BS. You know what I'm saying? They kind of revitalized the CD market. They made it special, unique, you know what I'm saying? And at least for our space, you know what I'm saying? And I tip my hat off to Ty Ferris and them, you know, his I think it's his cousin that he's building with. So, they did a great job with their product and they brought excitement back to the CDs. I mean, shit, like look at the Stadium Low Champion
yeah.
CD that you got. You
The
know what I mean? I was
hologram
inspired
cover,
by
it's dope.
I'm not gonna lie, I was inspired by what those guys did, how they put together their product and how they stepped up with the CD shit. Because if you look at like I did Obi strips we have Obi strips on Pressure Cooker. I did Obi strips on WaveGod. I did Obi strips back in 2018. You know what I'm saying? I have Obi strips on Physics of Filth. Wait, Physics of Filth? Cassettes had Obi strip, and Yeno Dushi had Obi strips. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing new with that. But the hologram shit, you know what I'm saying? I found my way, I found my little unique way to do it. You know what I mean? But shout out to those guys. They did a great job. But I do think, like I said, I think at least artists should start with cassettes, CDs, and then maybe if you have the bandwidth to handle vinyl, go with that,
It,
bro. I
it,
said fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I said fuck it. I'm going in.
if you care to share, what's tricky about doing vinyl, pressing your own vinyl?
It's just like I said, it's the storage space and the work. It's the you need the space for it, bro. Especially if you're like a Mickey Diamond, bro, or even like a West Side Gun. Like West Side Gun did 6,000 units with his last album, split
Right,
between two covers.
right.
Fucking, you know how much, bro? You know how much 6,000 units is, bro?
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like a lot, but
no, it
dog,
adds
a
up.
hundred, a
Do the math.
hundred records is a
Yeah,
hundred records is a lot when you can't sell it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
Trust me. So that's a lot of storage space that you need to handle. So I think that's the main thing. That's what makes it difficult and tricky. And then, but you could easily just sell direct to fans, hand to hand. You know what I mean? Go through IG, just hustle that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Do you
Hustle it.
consider yourself an organized person? Like, is that critical to running this operation?
Oh my God, bro. Yeah, definitely. I'm not, but I have to be.
Right,
I
right.
could I could easily drift away. I'm just like anybody else, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm an artist at heart. I'm an artist first. So just
yeah,
like any other artist, producer, like I easily drift away, do my, you know what I'm saying? I get lost in my own world with the fucking music and shit. But I have
right,
to always put myself back into like
right.
business mode and be like, yo, bro, like get it together. Like I think January, February, I didn't even go to the storage unit, bro. I think I had there was orders waiting to be mailed out, and I just couldn't get in the zone. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I didn't, but like times like this, like when I have releases and shit, I'm active. Like I have to be active. You know
you,
what I'm saying?
you seem to have
It's
a good
hard to handle on your
reputation.
own.
You seem to have a good reputation for sending shit on time, though, from what I've
I
heard.
definitely
Heard
won't leave a
before.
fan hanging, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? If you spent your hard-earned money with me, I'm gonna respond to you. I'm gonna talk to you. I'll let you know, like, you know what I mean? I'll throw in a little extra there for having you wait. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate everybody that comes through and shows their support in any type of way. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, handling it all on your own sometimes could become overwhelming. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
now with tax season just passing, like you got to handle your taxes and shit. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Because I'm doing everything legit. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
I'm not fucking around, bro. I have to. So it's a lot of organization, especially from a person who's not organized.
yeah.
It gets a little
No,
difficult, man.
it's motivational though to hear you say you're not organized. It means anyone can do it
Nah.
if they fucking
Anybody could do
force
it.
themselves. If they force
You
themselves to do it.
you just need the drive. You just need the ambition to get it done, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have to see the vision and bet on yourself. I always bet on myself, bro.
Yeah.
Man, if you doubt me, I'll prove you wrong, bro.
The,
You know what I'm
what
saying?
what Daniel Sen said about you is like it's not that you're an amazing producer. It's just you have the business side down. You know what I mean? And based on that, the way he described it is like you're kind of trying to catch up, for lack of a better word, to the alchemists or the derringers, so to speak, in terms of from a business standpoint. Let me know if that made sense. But
I mean, we're playing the same game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I don't know if there's any catching up as far as maybe my own
I
position
I,
in the
I might have
game.
used the wrong word too, but
No, 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 no. I hear what you're saying. I
yeah,
think it's more so by like positioning myself. Like it's not like to compare myself to an alchemist. Like to me, he's the GOAT. You know what I mean? There's no surpassing. There's no passing alchemist or getting to a level of alchemist. Like he has so many years and he's been so foundational to like what we do.
yeah,
I think it's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even put myself in that category of an
right.
alchemist. Now we do play the same game, right? We're playing the same type of mark. You know what I mean? Selling
Yeah,
product and all this shit. But nah, bro. Even Derringer, bro. Fucking, Derringer. Thanks to him, we're doing what we do, man. He created that sound, bro, for Griselda. He made it popping again. It's him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah.
him. So no, shout out to those guys, bro. Salute. You know what I mean?
So
Alchemist showed me some love, you know what I'm saying? Darren
did
just
he?
shows love. Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Dope, 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 dope. And I imagine you couldn't have dreamed getting to that level, 8 years ago or whatever. So
Fam, I remember when Muggs first hit me up. I was like, God damn, I can't believe it, bro. I remember skipping school in 8th grade
yeah, yeah,
to go cop the Soul Assassins CD.
right,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
yeah.
man. It's crazy.
So so wanted to end on this point, and then I'll ask you a couple like fun closing questions, and we're gonna wrap it up here to get you out on time. But it looks like the highest profile artist you've produced for, it's fair to say, is Boldy James.
Mhm. Def-
2022 Mr. 1008. Great project. My first time listening to a full Boldy James album.
Thank you.
On
Thank you.
another pod, I heard a story about how that came together. I thought it was an interesting story. Do you mind recapping it for the people hearing it for the
Um,
first time?
y- yeah, I mean, it wasn't honestly, it wasn't the you know what I mean, the greatest experience only because I'm so used to building with the artist directly.
Right.
That album was it's it like it was so Fuck Rap came to me one time. I don't remember what I was releasing, but I know Fuck Rap wanted to do another project with me. And you know, because I do my own vinyl and shit, so I'm like, well, if we're gonna do an album, if we're gonna work together, we gotta work with a guy that I it's out of my reach, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then I presented Boldy. Boldy was
Right.
my first, the first guy I mentioned, you know what I'm saying? And he hit up Boldy. I think he already did some business with Boldy at the time. He hit up Boldy, and Boldy's like, and he said Boldy wants to hear your beats. So, and that's when I was working on my beat tape, you know what I'm saying? Which was those beats probably would have ended up on McFly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I got like 15 joints, whatever. Let me send him what I have right now. And I sent it to him, and Boldy's like, hell yeah, bro, I fuck with this shit. Let's get it, right? And he's like, okay, send more. He's like, send some more beats. So I sent another 15, and bro, like 2 weeks later, the album was done. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Yeah, bro. But the thing is, the first time I interacted with Boldy was when the album was done. You know what I'm saying? So the album was done. I sent it, and Boldy, he loved the album. This is before Craven. This is before all that shit. This is before he really started to dump, right?
Right.
So Mr. 1008 was supposed to, I think originally was supposed to come out in May of 2022. And I don't even think Boldy and Craven started cooking yet,
Right.
right? But when those guys connected, bro, they created some of Boldy's best work. You know what I'm saying? So now definitely, me and Boldy got another one. We got another one that's scheduled to drop this year. You know what I mean? It's
Soon
definitely
time
better.
or
Yeah, it should be sometime soon. So, you know what I
nice.
mean? I'm not 100% on the date, but it's looking like it's coming out this year. You know what I mean?
Dope, dope, dope. So look, man, I got more content to discuss with you, man. If you're ever down for it down the road, we can do another episode if you feel the timing's right. No pressure. But I'm gonna ask
Definitely.
you some fun closing questions to wrap up this interview session. So, um, given your name is Futurewave, okay, what is the future for this grimy underground lane? Where is it in 5 years?
Bro, I think it's bigger. It's gonna be bigger than what you think, bro. You know what I mean? Now you got artists like Doechii, you know what I'm saying? She's fucking with the sound, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's slowly gonna become bigger and bigger and bigger. It's here to stay, man. This is a sound that should have never left. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame that it kind of disappeared from the commercial scene. But you know, you got Drake that fucks with the shit. You got fucking Doechii, Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? All the big dogs who really get busy, they fuck with this sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not to say like yo, their whole albums sound like this, but you'll hear 3 or 4 records on their albums that's like cater to this this market. So I think it's only gonna become bigger and bigger. And thanks to guys like West Side Gun, you know what I'm saying? He's selling
Right.
it to the world. You know what I mean? Shout out, yeah, for sure.
Part of the reason I like running this platform is learning things I never learned as an artist through talking to amazing artists like yourself. Um, I wanted to ask though, like the whole sampling part. I think it lends itself to selling physicals, right? So do you think that puts a ceiling on it, or is there a creative way around it?
Sampling?
Yeah, because
I think it's
sampling is integral to the sound, right?
It's
So
easier than ever, bro. I mean, I think this if you're a sample-based producer, I think this is the time it'll benefit you because I think they got a little more you'll still have people that won't clear samples,
right,
right? Or they'll charge too much money to clear a sample. But this is the best time because they you're revitalizing someone's old music that disappeared and they haven't made no money from it for a long time, and now there's an opportunity for them to start making money from it again. You know, as long as they work some good publishing. publishing numbers and shit. And there's sampling is I wouldn't let that stop the process, to be honest. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So you don't think it
There's
puts
ways there's ways
a
around it.
ceiling on it?
It did before. At one
Right.
point in time, sampling was an issue where, the guys wanted either too much or they just didn't allow it. But now they're willing to work with you. And also, you got certain companies that buy out catalogs of music, right?
Right. Right.
And those companies, they're willing to work with producers and for a percentage of publishing and shit like that. So I wouldn't worry about it, bro. I mean, if a sampling issue was to come up, then you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it, and you just work your way
Right.
around it. Like I said,
Right.
me, I'm more of like, yo, fuck it, let's do it. And if a problem comes, we'll just deal with it
Yeah.
when the time comes. You can't let nothing stop the process, bro.
Yeah. I
Do
agree.
something, and if you offend somebody, bro, then just take accountability for what you did, and you know what I mean, and just go from there. But you don't let it stop the process, man.
Yeah. I feel like this shit can never die. It's too foundational to ever die. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
definitely,
I'm
definitely.
with you. So last question. Daniel's son was telling me that this is going to be your craziest year yet.
Hmm.
Um, Anything we haven't discussed yet that you care to share, or should we just wait to see what happens? He said you got nukes. You've already uncovered Mickey Diamond, sequel to Boldy James album. I don't know. I don't remember what else we talked about. Any other nukes
Uh,
you want to highlight for this year?
my favorite thing that I have right now that is looking to is right around the corner is Dirt Wave 3.
Nice,
I would say that that's crazy. Like the Boldy album's amazing. It's more boldy, you know what I'm saying? It's soulful, you know what I mean? But for like the traditional grimy, you know what I'm saying, future wave shit, Dirt Wave 3 is
nice,
definitely a big one.
nice,
Me and Mickey, you know what I'm saying? Mickey announced that with you already. I got more than enough material to do an album fucking plus an EP and maybe another album with Rome Streets. You know what I'm saying? Me
nice.
and me and Rome never stopped working, you know what I'm saying? We're always working. Um fucking yeah, and the Daniel Son and Raz, that's a big one that I'm
Baggage
gonna
claims.
focus
Let's
on.
not forget. Just drop.
Baggage Claims is out
Yeah,
now. You know what I mean? There's
yeah.
only a couple black units left. Go grab that. Um, and what else, man? And the rest, you know what I mean? I have beat packs out. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say with who. Like whoever I mentioned is fucking, you know what I mean? It's looking like it's definitely on its way. But I got a bunch of other projects in the works that
Nice.
um that should be coming soon too. I'm definitely working, bro, nonstop, man. I'm always working on something. So.
So 2025 shaping up crazy, man. Look, it's been a complete honor talking to you, man. Thank you for getting into all those nooks and crannies. I think your fans are going to eat it up. Enjoy this when I get it up on YouTube, etc. Just want to shout out
Definitely.
a few people here. Jay Roberts, I know you engineered his upcoming project. Looking
Yeah,
forward to
shout
that.
out Jay Roberts and Woman
Upstate,
at 80s. Yeah, yeah.
Joe Robbie Stadium, who is Marcus Hunter, others that have joined and left.
Yeah, it's an
Thanks again,
awkward
man.
time, It's an awkward time to go
For
on
sure.
live, you know what I'm saying?
For
I mean,
sure, man.
everybody's working or you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, yeah,
but I appreciate, thank you, you know what I'm saying, for doing this interview with me, wanting to do it and taking your time to research my stuff and
yeah.
you know what I mean, and becoming more familiar with what I do. And even doing it at this time, you know what I'm saying, you accommodated to work with me and shit. So I appreciate that and thank you. And we could definitely do this again anytime, bro. I'm with it. I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? It's good. It's easy.
Amazing, amazing, bro, man. It's an honor once again. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. To be continued. Have a good one, everyone.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.